today. We're also with other distinguished guests. Where with Tom from Amnesty International. And Alice. With Lisa. If they could please stand up. We're also with the delegation from America.
Okay, sorry, just some correction. Tom Avakuri Genocide Watch and Nadisa Avakuri Amnesty International.
Quick correction, Tom is from Genocide Watch and Lisa is from Amnesty International. Thank you for being here with us today. We also have other distinguished guests.
Gatumba Foundation.
We have the president of the Gatumba Foundation here.
Esperance Nyasezerano.
Thank you for being here today. She represents the survivors, Gatumba survivors. If you could please stand with him. We're with Mrs. Adele Kibasumba. She's the president of Mahoro.
He's the biggest Banyamulenge diaspora worldwide. Kandi niwe wajuhagarariye abanyamulenge kwisi yose muri kino gikorwa badukora.
Today she is here representing all the Banyamulenge worldwide.
Mwamu yahaguruka nawe tukamuyegereza.
If you could please stand. I thank them all. If they could please stay standing. In our culture, women were not represented much.
Ariko ndabashimiye mwembi nabandi ndetse na hano n'umudamu duhagarariye ndabashimiye kubikorwa mukora.
But I thank them for making this achievement. We're also with Douglas from the United States. If he could also please stand so you can see him. We're also with Emme. They're with their team all from the United States. Please all stand so you can see them. We're with Janvier. We're delighted for you to be here. And these are survivors. And they're coming from afar. It's nice for them to be here supporting us. Thank you. We welcome everybody here today.
UK,
the Banyamulenge community in the UK. Thank you for coming today.
Manchester, Bradford, Sheffield, Hall,
pastors, church leaders coming from Bradford, Manchester, Hall, Liverpool and other cities, we welcome you here today. We also welcome our Congolese from other communities if they're here.
Okay. We
also with the president of the Rwanda
community here. Community Emery yahaguruka nawe n'abandi mwese muri kumwe.
Emery is also representing the Burundi communities here.
Murakoze.
Well, thank you.
Ubwo ni barandi nibabire turabivuga. Okay, ico ishatse kuvuga hano ni ku minsi 13 kwezi k'umunani 2004.
What I wanted to say, on the 13th of August 2004,
abantu 166 bishwe kubera ico barico.
166 people were killed because of who they are.
Iyi ni genocide niko tuyita kuko bazize uko baremwe.
This is textbook definition of genocide.
dushimye kino gikorwa cyabaye none
We thank you for this opportunity, for this event that happened today.
gitangiriye hano kandi nshimiye city council n'abayikoramo bose kuva kuri mayor na MP n'abandi dukorana kuko nicyo gikorwa cya mbere kibaye worldwide kuvuga ngo dufite urwibutso rw'abanyamulenge bapfiriye mu Gatumba.
For the first time, this event has happened worldwide. I thank those from the Southwood Council or from all levels, from the ceremonial mayor, all MPs, councillors. Thank you for achieving this thing.
Nshimiye abanyamuryango bose kubwitange kubyo mwatanze abanyamuryango, nshimiye na executive yacu na bode yacu kubyo mwakoze byose kugira ngo kino gikorwa kibe neza.
I thank those in my community, starting from the leadership and all levels, for all their support that they contributed for us to achieve this.
Ku minsi 25 kwezi kw'icumi umwaka ushize 2023,
on the 25th of October last year,
niho twakoze inama twari kumwe na Councillor Agaist yabonetse hano,
when the initial meeting took place with Councillor Agaist,
twari kumwe na Councillor Wilson yohaguruka,
where with Councillor Wilson, if you could please stand.
Twari kumwe na Pastor Munongori,
if you could please remain standing.
Twari kumwe na Madame Jacqueline nahaguruke.
We were with Jacqueline.
Twari kumwe na Kirayi.
We were with Kirai.
Uwo munsi niyo twagiye gushimira city mayor ku bintu badukorera na Salford.
That day we went to thank the city mayor for everything they do here in the city of Salford.
Nibwo twamuhaye kino gitekerezo ko urumva umwaka tubashye.
It's not even a year that they started this thing.
Rero uwo munsi niho kino gitekerezo cyatangiye, twari kibifite tukibiganira ariko niho umunsi gitangira. Murakoze mu kwicara.
If they could please remain. On the 25th of October was the initial idea of having this thing.
Rero tukaba dushima Imana ko tugeze kuri uno munsi.
We also thank God for we arrived to this day.
Ikindi no kongeraho,
if I may also add,
icyo nosaba bitangirire hano ariko bikomeze kuko dukeneye umuvugizi.
I ask that this has started today, but it shall continue.
Kandi nkaba nshinoge gushimira Rebecca, hariho n'ibindi bikorwa dutegura yari ahadutegurira gukora conference. Arakoze kunibutsa Rebecca dukora ibikorwa byinshi.
Rebecca, we work together on many
twari dutegura conference muri parlement.
We were preparing for a conference in the parliament.
Kuvuga ngo tujye kuvuga ikibazo cyacu.
For us to represent ourselves and represent what we the way she welcomes me is like she's a relative, like my sister. I don't know, it's like we have a relationship. She understands me too much. There's nothing I can add other than thanking her and praying for her.
Ndizera ko n'icyo gikorwa tuzagitegura habaye kubera habaye impinduka ariko tuzagitegura naco kibe.
I'm hoping that all that conference will happen, we'll work on it and we'll achieve.
Abandi niyegereza abacika cumu bose Pastor Kirayi mwahaguruka n'abandi bose bahano yuke muhaguruke tubiyegereza.
Let me also welcome all the survivors who are here represented by Pastor Kirayi. If you could all please rise. These are our brethren who lived in the camp of Gatumba. They are survivors.
Rero uyu munsi ni umunsi mukuru naho dufite umubabaro ariko babonye ahantu bazoza bajakurira naho bashira amafurawa.
Even though today it's a day filled with sadness, we're also happy for the ceremony that took place this morning.
Rero ndangiza
as I finish,
kutatwara umwanya reka mbashimire mwese.
Without taking too much time, let me thank all of you.
Kandi nshimira ubwitange bwanyu.
Thank for your support.
N'igikorwa ko cyageze neza kandi dukomeze n'ibindi bikenewe.
That the event today was a success.
Imana izakomeze bafashe kandi nabakomeze mugende n'ahandi bitangiriye hano tuzoje no muzindi za council no mu bindi bihugu ndizera ko bizoshoboka.
Today was the first time in Manchester. I hope that it will continue to spread all around the world, starting in the UK, in different towns and councils.
Murakoze ndabashimira.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Alexis.
arakoze cyane Councillor Alexis.
And I would ask while he's still standing,
nashaka kubasaba agihagaze
if he could come back
nimba ashobora kugaruka
and help with lighting the candles.
adufashe gucana urumuri.
And he will call the special guest
araza kuduhamagarira umutumire
to
wacu
come forward and light the candles.
nimba ashobora gutambuka imbere akatwakiriza iyo buji.
Thank you very much.
murakoze.
nahamagara MP Rebecca,
Let me call on MP Rebecca,
Esperance Nyasezerano,
Esperance Nyasezerano,
Kibasumba,
Kibasumba,
Adele,
Kibasumba, where is she?
Okay, tugiye kwasa anomalite.
We're going to light these candles.
Ndabona barakora kuri aya ngaya ko ari batatu.
They're going to start on the big one as it's 3.
Rero ndakora irindi rimwe.
I will also do it once.
Ndasaba ceremony man abakora irindi.
We'll also call upon the ceremonial mayor to do it once as well.
Then Madame Jacqueline.
And also the president of the Banyamulenge community in the UK, Madame Jacqueline.
Yo kwasa irindi.
If she could please also come and
Murakoze.
light one candle.
Murakoze.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Arakoze cyane,
Councillor Alexis.
Councillor Alexis.
We are now going to welcome the ceremonial mayor, Tanya Birch,
tukaba tugiye kwigereza ceremonial mayor Tanya Birch
for today's remarks.
atugezeho ijambo.
You're welcome.
Murakoze.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, our MPs, RMP, and councillors.
abagabo n'abagore ndetse n'abandi batumire MP wacu ndetse n'abakansila mwese muri hano.
It's a tremendous honor and privilege for me to represent the city of Salford here today.
nejejwe ndetse niciye bugufi kuba naserukiye umujyi wa Salford City Council kuri uyu munsi wa none.
Earlier on today,
kare uyu munsi
we unveiled the memorial stone for the Banyamulenge UN refugee camp massacre and genocide, act of genocide in Gatumba, Burundi.
twabashije kwerekana bwa mbere ku mugaragaro ibuye ry'urwibutso rwa jenoside yakorewe abanyamulenge mu nkambi ya Gatutsi ya Gatumba, Burundi,
where 166 innocent people lost their lives senselessly for no reason whatsoever.
aho abantu 136 bishwe bazizwa uko basa nta yindi mpamvu,
Only because of their identity.
gusa kubera abo ari bo.
And that means that was an act of genocide.
Ibyo bikaba bisigura yuko iyo ngiyo yari jenoside.
And as we heard earlier today, that perpetrators went from camp to camp to camp, causing no harm until they reached the 166 members of community.
Nkuko abitubwiye kare, abantu bakoze icyo kintu bagiye batambuka izindi nkambi, ariko bageze ku nkambi y'Abanyamulenge bica abantu 166.
And that was our targeted killing, trying to eliminate an ethnic group.
Ubwo n'ubwicanyi bugaragaza ko bwari bwateguwe.
Thank God we have got survivors.
Turashima Imana yuko hari abantu basigaye
To stand here together with us, to demand justice, to remind us what happened,
kuba bari hano hamwe natwe batwibutsa ibyabaye ndetse turwanira ubutabera,
to be witnesses
kuba abahamya
of the atrocity that took place,
y'ibyabereye, ubwicanyi bwabereye hariya kuri ya munsi,
but also to teach all of us the resilience.
ariko kandi banatwigisha imbaraga,
And also going forward,
tunagenda imbere,
encourage our community of Salford and the world to avoid what happened on the 13th of August 2004.
banashishikariza Salford City Council ndetse n'abandi bantu ku isi yose yuko barwanya ikintu nk'iki ngiki kutazongera kubaho.
We have talked about what happened on that horrific day.
Twavuze ku bintu byabaye kuri ya munsi mubi.
We are here today to remember,
Turi hano kubwo kwibuka,
demand justice,
dusaba ubutabera,
but we are also here to look to the future.
ariko turi hano tureba mu kazoza.
As we know, this memorial stone is the only candle that is lit up in the entire world to remember what happened.
Nkuko babitubwiye, ibuye ry'urwibutso niryo ryonyine rihari ku isi yose ko kwibuka abantu bishwe muri Gatumba.
I hope you allow me to speak briefly about the future.
Mureke munyemerere mbabwire ku kazoza.
I believe the community of survivors
Nizera yuko community y'abantu basigaye
and all those present here who are their supporters,
ndetse n'abandi hano babafasha,
we can all teach something the city of Salford and the world,
hari ikintu twakwigisha city ya Salford, umujyi wa Salford cyangwa se isi yose,
especially considering what has been happening in this nation over the last couple of weeks.
cyane cyane turebe ku bintu bimaze iminsi biba mu cyumweru bishize muri kino gihugu.
I would like to talk about a seed.
Reka mvuge ku mbuto.
Everything in this world begins with a seed.
Ikintu cyose muri ino si gitangirana n'imbuto.
To reap a massive harvest of wheat, we need one seed.
Kugira ngo tuzasarure ibintu byinshi utangirana n'imbuto.
Any project
igikorwa cyose
begins with a concept.
gitangirana n'igitekerezo gitoya.
Even today started with the first ray of sun in the morning.
Habe n'uyu munsi kugira ngo bibeho hatangiye ari igitekerezo.
Whether it's something good or something evil, it always starts with a seed.
Ari ikintu kibi cyangwa se ari ikintu cyiza, byose bitangirana n'igitekerezo.
The same way genocides, they don't happen overnight. They don't get conceived overnight.
Rero na genocide ntago iba mu munsi umwe.
They start with a seed.
Bitangirana n'imbuto.
And that seed is a thought.
Iyo mbuto ni igitekerezo.
In the minds and hearts of people.
Mu bitekerezo ndetse no mu mitima y'abantu.
Who for whatever reason decide to look at another ethnic group.
Kubw'impamvu iyo yose bashaka bagerageza kureba ku bundi bwoko.
And decide that they are not worthy, they are lower.
Bagahitamo ko abantu badakwiriye, bari munsi.
And inferior to them.
Kandi bari munsi yabo.
And this thought then becomes a word.
Rero icyo gitekerezo kivamo ijambo.
And then the evil harvest of actions is reaped, as it happened on the 13th of August 2004. That's why it's so important for us to think and remember of those seeds in our minds, what we think about those around us.
Niyo mpamvu rero ari iby'agaciro yuko tugomba gutekereza kuri ibyo bitekerezo tugira hagati muri twebwe ndetse n'abandi.
What we say about people are different, that look different to us, sound different to us, have different music, have different clothing.
Abantu badatekereza nkatwe, abantu badasa nkatwe, abantu bavuga utandukanye, abantu bagira imiziki itandukanye natwe.
Why am I so passionate talking about this?
Nise kuko kivuga bino bintu bivuga imbaraga.
Because I am Ukrainian by descent. I was born in Ukraine.
Ababyeyi cyangwa se igisekuruza cyanje nicyo muri Ukraine niyo nkomoka.
And genocide is taking place as we sit here today in my home country.
Muri uyu mwanya twicaye hano hari kuba genocide mu gihugu cyanje.
People who went to the same school.
Abantu bagiye ku ishuri rimwe.
Members of the same family.
Abantu b'umuryango umwe.
And I'm not making it up.
Ibi ntabwo ari ibintu ndimo nivugira nahisemo kuvuga.
I'm not using it as a figure of speech.
Kandi ntabwo mbivuga nk'umugani.
I've talked to people whose relatives are fighting against them, and I've talked to people who sat in the same classroom who are fighting against them now.
Ndavuga amakuru nabwiwe n'abantu bari ku rugamba barwana ndetse n'abantu barwanya imiryango.
If you told me 14 years ago that this was going to be happening in my country, I would never believe that.
Imyaka 10 ishize iyo umbwira ngo ibi ngibi byari kuba mu gihugu cyanjye ntabwo nari kubyemera.
How did it start? From thinking, speaking, and now acting.
Byatangiye gute? Igitekerezo bikaja mu ijambo hanyuma abantu bakabikora.
Thank you for your patience. Coming back to our survivors.
Ngaruka ku bantu basizwe.
I believe you are a tremendous asset to our city, to our community and the world.
Ndizera ndashidikanya ko muri abantu b'agaciro kuri uyu mujyi wa Salford hano mu gihugu ndetse n'isi yose.
And not only are you a driving force that is pushing this case toward justice,
ntabwo gusa muri abantu basunikira ubutabera,
but you are also people who can encourage all of us to stand against intolerance, persecution, and hatred toward others.
Muri abantu bafasha kurwanya urwango ibitekerezo by'ibibi ku bandi bantu.
And finally,
dangiza,
all of us, I believe this event is extremely important for all of us to stop and think how we are living our everyday lives.
Iki gikorwa nizera yuko ari gikorwa gifite agaciro cyadufasha kureba ukuntu tuba mu buzima bwacu busanzwe.
We can walk away from this event having our minds and our hearts refreshed with greater tolerance for other people.
Ndizera yuko cyangwa se nifuza yuko twese twatahana dufite igitekerezo cy'imbabazi ku bandi bantu.
Respect for their culture, for their traditions.
Kubaha imico ndetse n'imigenzo yabo.
And as we walk away,
dutaha,
let us walk away being ready to build bridges with other cultures, people whom we might not understand.
Reka dutahe twiteguye kubakana cyangwa se kubana n'ayandi moko n'iyindi mico.
But outstretched hand,
reka tugorore amaboko yacu,
a smile,
duseka,
an act of kindness,
dukora ibyiza,
looks exactly the same in every nation.
Igikorwa cy'ubwiza kirasa hose ku isi.
Let us walk away from here,
reka dusohoke hano hantu,
being those people who will build bridges,
turi abantu bagiye kubaka ibiraro n'ayandi moko,
who will melt walls built between communities,
tugiye gusenya inkike ziri hagati yacu n'andi moko,
so that the atrocities that happened on the 30th of August 2004 never happen again.
kugira ngo igikorwa cyangwa se amabi nk'aya ngaya yabaye ku itariki 13 atazongera kuba.
We owe it to those who lost their lives, but we also owe it to the survivors.
Ni ideni dufitiye ku bantu bapfuye ndetse n'abantu basigaye.
So as the ceremonial mayor of Salford,
nk'umuntu waserukiye mayor wa Salford,
I am honored and privileged to stand here today to encourage yourselves and myself, all of us, to walk away renewing our commitment to peace and building bridges between communities.
nejejwe kandi ncishwa bugufi kuba ndi hano mbafasha cyangwa se nzana ijwi ry'ihumure ndetse n'abakangurira kuja kubana neza n'andi mahanga.
Thank you ever so much to the organizers. We have had the list of people who organized the event, and thank you ever so much for this opportunity.
Reka nshimire abatugiye uno munsi mwakoze cyane.
Thank you very much for the kind words.
Arakoze cyane ku magambo meza.
From Councillor Tanya Birch.
From Councillor Tanya Birch.
Who is ceremonial mayor of Salford.
Ariwe waserukiye ceremonial mayor wa hano mu mujyi wa Salford.
Thank you very much.
Arakoze cyane.
We are now going to invite survivors' testimony. We are going to start by Noela, who is a survivor from of Gatumba massacre or genocide. On her life, even if it's emotional, she will try to explain what happened that fateful night. Noela, you are very welcome. She can come with her sister. If Janvier can also come, you'll be the next to give testimony.
Hello everyone. As they mentioned, my name is Noela. I am with my younger sister. With also our brother Janvier. We are survivors in the refugee camp in Gatumba. It's of great value.
Our
hearts are filled with joy for this great stepping stone as survivors. Especially for the memorial stone that we have installed in Salford. We thank everyone who had anything to do with this thing, everybody who supported it any other way. As survivors, seeing what happened today, we are hopeful that we will achieve much more going forward. Our hearts are very happy. Last weekend I gave a testimony in the US, so I'll be brief. My brother Janvier is going to be more extensive. When it happened, I was also there. We lost our mother and father and also our siblings, 3 siblings. In our extended families, we lost more people, our uncles and our aunties, friends and colleagues.
ariko siko bimeze
I like to say that they focused too much on our tent where we were living,
ndabyemeza rero kuko ariyo hema yapfiyemo abantu benshi
because I believe in that tent there were many people compared to other tents.
kandi wasangaga aribo bajanye n'umuryango n'abantu bose umugore n'umugabo n'abana majority abana bose.
In that tent, there was families, groups.
Ndibaza cyatumye muri mwanjye asigara ntabwo iyo twari kumwe yigaga mu Rwanda ariko bo twari kumwe bose barapfuye.
The reason I believe my younger sister here is still alive.
Bari batangiye no gutwika ishitingi yacu mvamo ariko nanjye navuyemo korana n'uzuye amaraso y'abapfuye.
As I was stepping out, they had just started burning our tent.
Ndahunga ndiruka.
I ran.
Ni birebire abantu bakurikiye ubuhamya bwanje niho ibintu byinshi navugiyeho ariko ndagira ngo ndeke gutwara umwanya. Ndashimira Imana cyane ko yabanye nanjye nkaba mpagaze ahangaha mvugira abadahari kugira ngo bazabone ubutabera. Nk'iyo nje wenda kuba ndahari ntawe uhabikora ariko ndashima Imana ko nasigaye kugira ngo nzabashe no kugira icyo mbwira uyu ni iby'agaciro cyane. Reka mpe musaza wanjye ari uvuga byinshi kuko niwe mutaragira kumutegera. Murakoze, Imana ibahe umugisha. Ko ndumva nshaka kwimukira hano muri UK kugira ngo mbe hafi ya ririya buye.
Because of the support that you've shown me, I feel like I want to move to Salford so I can see what happens today. My brother was saying that he doesn't want to go home, he wants to stay there.
Abirebe cyangwa ashira amaflowers n'ibindi byose uba nkaho muri like closed.
Yeah, I am the same sentiment. I want to stay here. I want to continue feeling the support. I want to continue witnessing what I've seen today.
Ariko turabasaba mwebwe muri hafi.
But I would like to request you who are here,
muza mugenda muha cleaning.
Please continue to visit that place, clean it.
Muhatubere.
Be there for us.
Murakoze, Imana ibahe umugisha.
Thank you and God bless you.
Murakoze cyane.
Thank you.
Icyo tuvuga Noel arangije nabyo ntabwo byoroshe.
It's not easy to speak.
Ariko urakoze cyane Noel. Reka nsabe Rachel ariyo ntangiriraho bazanye.
Let me request for Rachel.
Azansange.
If they could please come forward. Rachel, sorry.
Rachel.
Is Rachel here? If you could please. Yeah, she's at the back. She's coming.
Nitwa Mudagiri Janvier Sebahire.
My name is Mudagiri Janvier Sebahire. I live in Belgium.
Twaje gufatikanya namwe kuri uyu munsi.
We are here to witness your support to this day.
Kuri twe nk'abacikacumu mu Gatumba.
For us as survivors of the Gatumba genocide.
Uyu munsi iyo ushitse dusubira kubibona nka wa munsi.
When this day comes, we see it as the day.
Dufite umwanya mutoya.
We have a short time.
Ariko turagerageza kubivugaho bukeya.
But we're going to try to go into details.
Ku minsi 13
on the 13th of August 2004,
twari turyamye kimwe n'abandi bose uko baryama.
We were sleeping as usual, as other people sleep.
Ntabwo twari twiteze ko hari ikintu kiri butubeho.
There was no expectation of something happening.
Nje nari mpamaze iminsi itagera kuri 4.
I had just lived there for only 4 days.
Uriya mugabo mbona avuye muri Amerika yahageze mu gatondo.
The man you saw go there in the morning for the first time.
Umunsi duterwa.
On the Friday that we were attacked.
Nje nawe ndatekereza ko tuma abantu bambutse banyuma bahunga bagira mu Gatumba.
Me and him, we were one of the last people who fled from Congo going to the camp of Gatumba. Others had been there for almost 2 months. We were coming from the city of Kalemi in Congo. It's far from others. That is not a detail I'm going into.
tugeze mu Gatumba
When we arrived in Gatumba,
kuri uwo munsi
on the day,
turaterwa
we were attacked.
twatewe bitunguranye
It was a surprise attack.
kuko iyo tuza kuba twari dufite amakuru n'iyenda twari kuhava cyangwa se tugahunga.
Maybe if you had information of something like this happening, we would have fled or done something else.
ariko siko byagenze
But
twaratunguwe.
that is not how it happened.
mu ijoro twaratewe
In the night we were attacked.
hari urusaku rwinshi rw'amasasu
There was too much noise, gunfire.
hari indirimbo nyinshi
There were way too many songs.
bari bafite ingoma.
They had drums.
mu magambo bavugaga
In the words they were speaking,
bavuga ko Imana yabagabije,
they were speaking that God had given them a gift.
Imana yabahaye icyo bagomba gukora.
God had given them a task.
mu ihema twari turimo,
In my tent I was staying in,
nari ndi kumwe na muzehe Papa Jalos.
I was with our father there.
niwe wari utangira mu muryango wa mbere.
He was in the first door.
umuryango wa kabiri wari urimo famiye Kalala.
In the second door there was a family called Kalala.
umuryango wa gatatu nzi twari tuwimo.
In the third door it was me.
urundi ruhande ko twagiraga koridor,
By the side there was a corridor.
wari urimo izindi famiye zitatu.
There were also 3 families in that
kwa
corridor.
Chantal,
There was a woman called
harimo
Chantal.
Madame Kassa wapfanye n'abana bose.
There was a lady called Kassa. She died with all the kids.
na famiye yo kwa Nyabihogo wapfanye n'abana babiri.
There was also a family that died with 2 kids.
mu ihema ryacu
In our tent,
Imana ishimwe ko twagize nibura na famiye imwe isohoka yakomeretse ariko ntiyaburamo umuntu, niko Papa Jalos.
we thank God we had at least 1 survivors, although we were injured.
ariko abandi bose muri iyo hema twabuzemo abantu.
The rest were wiped out, were killed.
nabuze mushiki wanjye nakundaga cyane
I lost my dear sister
n'abana babiri.
with her 2 kids.
kuvuka muri babiri.
It was only 2 of us in the family.
kuvuka muri babiri
Just 2 siblings.
ugasigara uri umwe.
And you're the only one remaining.
babarire.
I'm sorry for being emotional.
No. suko gupfa suko muba muri benshi akagira abapfa. icyo mvuze ariko imagine kuba muri babiri.
Imagine only being 2 of you in the family.
na mushiki wawe
You and your sister.
mutakifite umubyeyi.
You have no parent.
yarambereye umubyeyi.
She was like a parent to me,
nawe aragenda.
but she also passed. She was killed.
murabona uyu mukobwa
As you see this young daughter,
mama we yamusize afite amezi abiri.
her mother left her 2 years younger.
niyo mpamvu namuhagurukije.
2 months.
yari umubebe.
She was a baby.
nyina agenda amusigaye afite amezi abiri.
She was only 2 months when her mother was killed.
nari ndyamanye nawe
I was in the same bed with her,
ku matera imwe
on the same mattress,
na mama we.
with her mother.
mama we arapfa
Her mother was killed.
ansigira uyu nguyu.
She left me with her.
ndashima Imana ko kuri uyu munsi ari umukobwa mukuru.
I thank God that today she's a big girl.
ntabwo byoroshye ariko hamwe n'Imana.
It's not easy, it's by the grace of God.
uyu mwana yari aryamye ku ruhande rwa mama we.
She was sleeping by her mother's side.
ari kwibera ari konka.
She was breastfeeding
nyina amaze gupfa.
after her mother was killed.
ntabwo nari nzi ko azabaho.
I was not expecting for her to live this long.
nari nzi ko nawe azopfa.
I thought she would die.
nari nsigaye njyenyine.
I was left by myself.
mama wanjye yaramaze nawe gukomereka bamuciyemo amaguru yombi.
My mother was also injured. She lost 2 of her legs.
nabonaga nta buzima bwihari bwiwe.
I couldn't see life.
kugeza n'uyu munsi
To this day,
mama aracyahari nubwo ari ikimuga.
my mother is still alive, although she's handicapped.
uyu ni umwaka wa karindwi
Today is the 7th year.
atagera muri salo.
She's not been to the living
aba mu
room.
buriri.
She lives in a bed.
murebera mu buriri.
She lives in a
salo
bed.
yo twayigize mu buriri
Her living room is the bedroom
ku mpamvu za Gatumba.
because of the Gatumba genocide.
ndatinze
Without taking much time,
ubutabera.
Let's ask for justice.
nta kindi gisigaye
There's nothing left
kuko kuduha ubutabera.
without justice.
Ntabwo abantu bacu bazagaruka,
Our people will not come back from the dead.
tuzasubira kubabona ukundi,
We will not see them again,
ariko turifuza ubutabera.
but we can see justice.
Turifuza ubutabera.
We want justice.
Nitubona ubutabera,
If we see justice,
imitima yacu izaruhuka.
our hearts will be relieved.
Ndangiza reka nshimire komite ya hano
As I finish, let me thank the community here
ku gikorwa mwadukoreye.
for the work that they have done.
Aho twashinguye abacu ni kure.
Where we buried our families is far.
Imyaka yose ntabwo twari tubona ko tuja gushiraho indabo,
For all this time, we had no opportunity to lay flowers.
ariko mwakoze ikintu cyiza ko tuha ahantu iriya nimva tuzaza tuza kuruhukiraho twibuka abacu.
But this gravestone is a great remembrance. It's something that we're going to visit time after time.
Dushimiye n'ubuyobozi bwose bwa hano bwabiduhaye.
We thank for the leadership group here that has enabled this to happen.
Mwarakoze cyane.
Thank you.
Ndarangije.
Thank you. I finish.
Thank you very much, Janvier
Arakoze cyane Janvier
and Noella
hamwe na Noella
and her sisters.
hamwe n'abavandimwe babo.
We are now going to hear from the president of Gatumba Refugee Foundation.
Muri uyu mwanya tukaba tugiye kumva amagambo y'umuntu ukuriye foundation ya Gatumba.
And her name is Esperance Nyasezerano,
Her name is yitwa Esperance Nyasezerano,
who is also a survivor.
nawe ni umucikacumi.
You're welcome.
Murakaza.
Hello.
Hello.
Biragoye kuvuga nyuma ya Janvier na Nono.
It's hard to make my remarks after the gentleman who just finished.
Kandi ndagira ngo abantu benshi mwanyumvishe navuze mu gitondo.
I also spoke this morning for those who were there.
Sinzi nasaba ngo abacikacumu bose bari hano baza imbere.
All the survivors are here. If you could please come forward.
Kuko kindavuga mu izina ryabo.
Because I'm representing them here.
Kandi ndagira ngo amajambo yose ndi buvuge buri mucikacumu wese yarakagombye kuyavuga.
All the words or remarks I'm going to make are words that could have been spoken by any of the survivors.
Bwa mbere dushimiye abantu bose baje uno munsi.
Let me also take this opportunity to thank those of you who are here today.
Kandi ntabwo tubisubiramo kuko ndagira ngo twashimiye abantu mu gitondo.
Earlier this morning we thanked everyone who was there.
Icyo nshaka kuvuga cyane
What I want to emphasize
ni ku mbaraga z'aba bantu mubonana imbere.
is the strength of people you see here before you.
Maze imyaka 8 nkorera uno muryango.
It's been 8 years I've been the president of this foundation.
Nje mu bantu byananiye gutanga ubuhamya nanje mbarimo.
I am one of the people who struggle to give a testimony.
Ndagira ngo ejo bundi niho umwe mu basista wacu yantunguye arambwira ngo mvuge.
Recently, one of my sisters surprised me and asked me to speak for the first time.
Nza gusanga ahubwo mfite ikibazo kinini nanjye ntarinzi.
I also realized that I had a big problem that I was not aware of.
Ino myaka yose ni nkaho nahungaga ririya joro rya Gatumba.
All this time, it seemed like I was fighting the night.
Ikintu cyose gishobora gutuma mbitekereza naragihungaga.
Anything that reminded me of the night, I stayed away from.
Noneho kuba naragiriwe amahirwe yo kuyobora nafashe uwo mwanya imbabizi.
But when I had the opportunity to lead this foundation,
imbabizi mu buryo ntashakaga no gutekereza Gatumba.
I became busy to the point that I tried everything to avoid remembering the genocide.
Noneho reka mbonereho n'umwanya wo kubabwira ko uno mwaka twashoboye gutora ubuyobozi bushasha.
Let me announce to you that this year we were able to elect a new leadership group.
Ubu nyine dufite perezida mushasha witwa Desire Rusengo.
We have a new president by the name of Desire Rusengo.
Vice w'ubu nyine ari hano ni Aime Bideri.
Vice president, his name is Bideri.
Ndetse n'abandi bari muri komite harimo Noella Wagasusuri hano.
We also have all the members of the leadership group here.
Ndetse n'abandi bayobozi batandukanye harimo Darwin Tuna na Safi bose bari hano.
There are also various leaders in our new leadership.
Noneho hariho umuntu twaganiriye tumaze gutanga ubwo buhamya arambwira ati se kuvuye ku buyobozi uzakora iki?
Recently, I spoke to somebody who asked me a question. Now that you've stepped down from the leadership, what are you going to do?
Sinabonye igisubizo.
I did not have an answer for them.
I think mfite ubwoba bwo gufacinga reality.
I believe I have the fear to face the reality.
Ubwoba bwo kongera gukomereka.
The fear of facing the same thing again.
Njyewe ntabwo napfushije ababyeyi mu Gatumba.
I did not lose parents in Gatumba.
Famiye yanje yose nari mfite murumuna wanje na papa na mama twese twavuyemo turi bazima.
Me, my family, the siblings, my parents, we all managed to escape.
Hari igihe nza ndeba bano bakuru banje nabita ngo ni bakuru banje.
Sometimes I look at my older sister.
Kavuga ati maybe iyo nanje nje gupfusha ababyeyi cyangwa se nanje ngapfa.
I think to myself, maybe if I had lost parents or if I had died myself,
nari kumva umubabaro bagira.
maybe I would have been able to feel the pain that they have or they carry with them.
Imyaka yose nalidinze umuryango.
All these years, I begged my family.
Nta kintu cyangoraga nko guhagarara imbere yabo.
There was nothing harder than to stand in front of them.
Nabonaga nta right mfite kuyikora.
I felt like I had no right to do what I do.
Ariko ndashima Imana
But I thank God
ko icyunamo twakoze muri America last week
that the remembrance ceremony we had in America last week,
hariho amagambo abantu batanze ubuhamya bavuze.
we heard some testimonies from people.
Yongeye kumpereza energy cyangwa se hope, impereza n'akariro gatoya ko kuvuga ngo I did okay.
Their testimonies filled me with hope and a burning fire, feeling that I did something good.
Noella yaravuze ngo turiho kandi tuzakomeza tubeho.
Noella said we are alive and will continue to be alive.
Kamariza wanzabakiza aravuga ngo healing is possible.
A lady called Kamariza said healing is possible. Cyangwa se gukira birashoboka.
Ati ntabwo byaba uyu munsi atariko biri possible.
Even though it might not happen today, but it's possible.
Noneho Desire unyine uri perezida wacu aravuga ngo
Our current president said,
aravuga ngo twarasigaye kugira ngo tube aba advocates ba peace.
he remarked that we survived to be advocates for peace.
Rero ibyo bintu bitatu byanongeye icyizere.
Those three things filled me with comfort or strength and hope.
Reka dushimire abantu bacu twahambye mu Gatumba.
Let me thank our people that we buried in Gatumba.
Ndashima ko baduteyemo imbuto.
I thank them that they instilled in us a seed.
Iyo mbuto ikaba yaraduhaye second chance y'ubuzima.
That seed gave us a second chance at life.
Sinzi mwebwe uko mwaje hano muri bino bihugu.
I don't know how many of you go into this country.
Ariko twebwe twaje ari uko bari abantu bacu bishwe.
But we got here because our people had been killed.
Dufite ubuzima tubakesha.
We have a life that we dedicate to them.
Bisobanura ngo it's our responsibility.
Which means it's our responsibility
to speak on their behalf.
Kubavugira, to speak on our behalf.
It is our responsibility
Ni responsibility yacu
gushaka ubutabera.
To seek justice.
Icyo nasaba abantu bose bari hano,
what I can ask those who are here present,
cyangwa se icyo nabibutsa,
or what I can remind you,
iyo twibuka,
when we remember,
ntabwo ari amajambo gusa cyangwa umuhango.
It's not only words or just programs that we follow.
Ahubwo ni ukubana n'abacu.
It's being with our loved ones.
Kuko batazimye.
Because their names did not perish.
Ikindi nabasaba nk'abanyamulenge.
What I would also like to request my people as Banyamulenge people,
ntitwibagirwe.
Let's not forget.
I think tuza tugera muri bino bihugu tukamera nkaho twashitse.
Sometimes when we arrive in these countries, we believe that we've arrived somewhere.
Ntabwo bino bihugu bizatubera iwacu.
These countries will not be our homes forever.
Iwacu turahazi.
We know our home.
Kandi kizadufasha,
and what will help us
gukomeza kugira uwo muco w'iwacu,
to continue to carry our ideals from home,
nuko tuzakomeza kuba bamwe,
is that we continue to be united.
Twanze gushira nk'abanyamulenge.
We refuse to perish as the people of Banyamulenge.
Twanze gushira twicwa n'abanzi.
We refuse to be exterminated by our enemies.
Reka tidushire kubera ibitekerezo.
Let's not be exterminated by other people's ideas.
Tugomba kuguma turi bamwe.
We must be united.
Kuko umwanzi wacu n'umwe.
Because our enemy is united.
Reka nshime ndangiza.
As I finish,
dufite byinshi byo kuvuga.
We had much to say.
Ariko reka tubabwire ngo UK muri abantu b'abagabo.
Let me thank the people in the UK that you are great people.
Mwakoze.
Thank you.
Mwakoze for showing us the way.
Thank you for showing us the way. Mwakoze kutwereka inzira.
ibyo twakoze mu gitondo n'ibyo turimo ubu nyine
What we did earlier in the morning and what we are doing now,
mubikomeze
please continue that.
kandi nituva hano tugasubira iyo tuvuye
And now as we depart here from to our homes,
twizere ko muzakora n'ibiruta ibyo mwakoze uno munsi.
we are hoping for you guys to continue what you did today.
Nshaka gushimira Adele.
Let me take this opportunity to thank Adele.
Adele ni umukikacumu.
She's also a survivor.
Ntabwo yabashije kuza muri Arizona.
We had a ceremony in Arizona, but she was unable to attend.
Ntabwo twagiriwe amahirwe yo kugushimira Adele, but know that we thank you for all you do.
We did not get an opportunity to thank for all she does.
Tubizi ko agwanye intambara nyinshi.
We know she fought many wars.
For us and many others.
For our community and many others.
Tuzahora twibuka ibyo wakoreye ubwoko.
We'll continue to remember what you did for our community.
And the survivors.
Especially the survivors.
Shimire Maître Innocent.
Let me thank Mr. Innocent.
Ndibaza ko ari buze kubivuga kurambuye.
I'm sure he's going to speak of this in more details.
Naho amadosiye yacu ageze ubu nyine ni Maître Innocent wabishizemo imbaraga.
For where our case is at this point, it's him. We dedicate this to him.
Thank you for not giving up on us.
Warakoze ko utadutereranye.
Thank you for fighting so hard for the vulnerable people.
Urakoze ko waturwaniriye cyane.
Dushobora kuba tutabivuga cyane ariko wumve n'imitima yacu iragushimiye.
Even though we might not speak of it too much, but our hearts acknowledge it.
And Papa Murura, may God bless you.
And also Councillor Murura, may God bless you.
Like I said, I envy you.
Nkuko nabivuze nkufitiye ishari.
Kuko uri umuntu ukoze ikintu kiri historic mu Banyamulenge.
Because you've managed to achieve something historic for the community of Banyamulenge.
Umuntu wese uzakora nka kino nyuma yawe azavuga ati wabitangije ni wewe.
For anyone who's going to do something similar, they're going to say Murura did it first.
So Papa, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Nabo mwakoranye bose.
And your team.
Imana yacu ibahe imigisha myinshi.
May our God bless you.
Murakoze.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Espe.
Arakoze cyane Espe.
We extend our deepest sympathy.
Tukaba twabahaye ihumure.
And all we need now is justice.
Ibyo dukeneye kuri ubu ngubu cyangwa se igisigaye ni ubutabera.
As Janvier said,
nkuko Janvier yari yabivuze,
we won't bring back our loved ones. As Janvier said,
nkuko Janvier yabivuze,
we won't be able to bring back our loved ones.
Ntago tuzagarura abacu badusize.
But all we want now is justice.
Icyo dukeneye ni ubutabera.
And now justice should prevail.
Kandi turaharanira yuko ubutabera buhaba.
There is a small announcement.
Reka mbacishije itangazo ryihuta.
The person who parked a Toyota plaque FE07KHT, they have blocked the way, so if they can go out and remove the car out of the way.
Hari imodoka y'umuntu Toyota ifite plaque ya FE07KHT, nimba ashobora gukura imodoka y'abakozi.
We thank you very much.
Murakoze cyane.
Now I would like to welcome Thomas from Genocide Watch.
Reka niyegereze Thomas from Genocide Watch.
For a couple of minutes to share
with
us.
Atugezeho ijambo.
Thank you very much. We are running out of time.
nubwo umwanya uri kutubana
but
muto
everyone should have a small opportunity to say a word.
ariko reka tugezeho ijambo.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Firstly, I should say I'm not actually at Genocide Watch anymore. I haven't been with them for 18 months. But
reka mbacisheho nkosoye kubyo bari bavuze ntago ngikorera mu muryango wa Genocide Watch hashize amezi 18.
So I'm with two other organizations, but I did start most of my research and advocacy with Genocide Watch, and people who I've collaborated with I met through them.
Hari yindi miryango ibiri ndimo korana nayo ariko ibikorwa byanje nakoze byibanze nabikoreye muri Genocide Watch, ubushakashatsi nakoze n'abantu nziranye mukuru ubungubu nahuriye nabo muri muryango wa Genocide Watch.
And so it's with Genocide Watch that I started focusing on the Banyamulenge community.
Ni muri uwo muryango wa Genocide Watch nabashije cyangwa se natangiye kumenya amakuru ya Gatumba Genocide.
And since then, with these two other organizations, I've taken the research I've been doing in a slightly different direction, still focusing on the Banyamulenge.
Rero nubwo navuye mu muryango wa Genocide Watch, ubushakashatsi bwanje nakoze nabujanye muri iyo miryango ibiri ndimo konana nabyo, ariko nagerageje gukora ubushakashatsi bwanje mu yindi nzira ariko nkireba kuri genocide yakorewe mu Gatumba.
So it's too complicated and too complex for me to summarize my exact research that I've been doing now, but I will summarize some key points.
Ni birebire yuko nabaheza amakuru yose ku bushakashatsi nkora biragoye kubyumva ariko ndagerageza mbabwira amakuru ku bugufi.
So basically, alongside other projects, other smaller projects, I've been working on some writing and research which really tries to address the complexities of the conflict affecting the Banyamulenge today.
Mu byo nkora ubushakashatsi bwanze nkora ngerageza gusobanura cyangwa se kumva iyi genocide yakorewe Abanyamulenge.
And that might seem to a lot of people to be unnecessary. In fact, I agree, it should be an unnecessary research task.
Kuri benshi abantu batabizi babona ko ari igikorwa kidafite agaciro kuki nkora ubushakashatsi nk'ubu ngubu.
But sadly, what I've learned over the years from my research and advocacy that I've been doing for about 4 years is that it is necessary for me to do this.
Ariko biteye agahinda naje kumenya yuko ibi bushakashatsi nkora cyangwa se ibintu nandika bifite agaciro kugira ngo ubutabera buzaba.
And that is because, as a lot of people in the Banyamulenge community will know, and as other people who have collaborated or interacted with the Banyamulenge will know,
nkuko muri community y'Abanyamulenge mubizi cyangwa se abandi bantu bakoranye na community y'Abanyamulenge babasha kubitahura,
there are a lot of experts, academics and officials in the field of human rights and conflict analysis who do tend to downplay what the Banyamulenge are experiencing today.
Hari abahanga cyangwa se abashakashatsi muri ibi bintu bagerageza kutabiheza agaciro cyangwa se bakagerageza kubifobya.
And also that influences, so these biases influence media reporting, and so the Banyamulenge persecution and genocidal violence today does not get any attention.
Niyo mpamvu usanga ubwicanyi nk'ubungubu budahabwa agaciro bukwiriye kubera ko hari abashakashatsi hari abanyabwenge batagerageza kubiheza agaciro bukwiriye.
We've often come across arguments from academics and other experts who question why we would focus on a vulnerable minority like the Banyamulenge community, when many people in Congo are suffering.
Hari abashakashatsi cyangwa se hari abanyabwenge nje mpura nabo bagerageza kumbaza tese kubera ko ushaka kwita cyane kuri aba ngaba kandi hari abandi bakongomani muri Kongo barimo bahura n'ibibazo.
And so my research has been to work really hard and to engage in as much literature as possible to tackle those narratives.
Rero akazi nkora ni ukugerageza gukora ubushakashatsi ngasoma ibitabo byinshi kugerageza ngo mbashe kurwanya iyo mitekerereze y'abantu batabyumva gutyo.
And of course, conflict and violence in Congo is very complex, it's very broad and varied, it's a very big country.
Nkuko mubizi Kongo ni igihugu kinini, imirwano ubwicanyi bubera hariya ni ibintu kenshi bikunze kugora kubyumva byoroshe.
And it is true that about 6 million people have died in DR Congo since the Congo Wars in the 1990s.
Kuva muri za 90 ni ukuri yuko abantu miliyoni 6 bamaze kwicwa muri Congo.
However, a common theme is that the Banyamulenge and other Tutsi communities often get targeted with disproportionate and very targeted hate speech and violence.
Ariko ikintu dukunze kubona cyane nuko abatutsi cyangwa se Abanyamulenge nibo bakunze gutoranywa muri ubwo bwicanyi.
In fact, because there is so much suffering, insecurity and economic insecurity across eastern Congo, vulnerable minorities become an easy target.
kubera umutekano muke na ekonomi ya Kongo iri hasi, minority niyo ikunze gutoranywa, abantu nk'abanyamurenge abake mu gihugu nibo bakunze gutoranywa mu kwicwa.
And so my takeaway message for people who are not from the Banyamulenge community and do want to take an interest and show support for the community from the UK and elsewhere.
Rero ku bantu batava muri community y'abanyamurenge bari hano bashobora kumva ko bashaka gukora ubushakashatsi cyangwa se ubuvugizi ahandi hose,
is that I encourage you to please keep taking an interest in conflict and war in DR Congo, but particularly the Banyamulenge and Tutsi community.
Ndabashishikariza yuko mwakwita ku bwicanyi bwo mubera muri Kongo, ariko cyane cyane mwibanda ku bwicanyi bubera ku banyamurenge abatutsi muri Kongo.
There is not enough reporting. It is a very invisible crisis.
Na makuru adakunze kuvuga cyane mu binyamakuru, na makuru adakunze kwitaho.
And I remember about 5 years ago when I was doing my postgraduate thesis, my supervisor told me I should focus on DR Congo.
Ndibuka yuko hashize imyaka 5 nkora maîtrise, niho umusupervisor wanje yambwiye ati byaba byiza witaye kubera muri Kongo.
And I thought that was a terrible idea because I didn't understand anything and the media reports never helped make sense of what was going on there.
Mu gihe yabimbwiye numvaga ari igitekerezo kibi, nta kintu nari mbiziho, nta makuru nari mfite, media nta kintu yabivugagaho.
But I persevered, and 5 years later I do have a much stronger understanding of the conflict, and I encourage people to be patient and keep reading into the literature and the reports.
Ariko mu myaka 5 nyuma yo gukora, nyuma yo gusoma ibintu byinshi, navuga ko kuri ubu ngubu mfite ubusobanuro buhagije ku bintu bimwe bibera hariya.
And so back to my point that there are many different crises and many different types of suffering in DR Congo.
Nsubiye ku ijambo nari navuze, hari ubwicanyi butandukanye bumwe bubera muri Kongo.
My main point in my research is that the suffering and the persecution and genocidal violence against the Banyamulenge, focusing on that is not in contradiction with supporting all Congolese people.
Rero igitekerezo ndimo nandika mu bushakashatsi bwanje no kuvuga yuko umuntu witaye ku bwicanyi bwabere ku banyamurenge ntago bivuze yuko bari abantu tabaha agaciro.
However, key actors in Congolese society and politics,
ariko abantu bakomeye muri politike y'abakongomani,
need to be held accountable for the way in which they have influenced anti-Tutsi and anti-Banyamulenge hate in DR Congo to this day.
Bakagombye kuzanwa imbere y'ubutabera kuko bagize influence nini mu bintu biba ku banyamurenge.
Do I have a few more minutes to keep going, or do you want me to stop? Well, 1 minute. Okay, so I was thinking, while I was holding back the tears, listening to those speeches earlier, it reminded me of when I was actually reading a key research paper from a friend, Felix Underhinder.
byanyibukije igihe nasomaga igitabo recherche mu myaka yashize,
and that was documenting the hate speech and linking the hate speech against the Banyamulenge with the violence against the community.
ubwo bushakashatsi bwavuga ku magambo y'urwango cyangwa se amagambo y'ubwicanyi yabaga muri community y'abanyamurenge.
And I remember feeling, although this was a research paper, it wasn't meant to be an emotional experience.
Nubwo umuntu wabyanditse atashatse kuriza abantu, bwari ubushakashatsi gusa.
Reading this made me feel very angry and upset by just how clear the evidence was, but then how little attention this problem was actually getting.
Ariko narijijwe cyangwa se natewe ishavu n'ibimenyetso umuntu wanditse kino gitabo cyangwa se ubushakashatsi yerekanye.
And so I will continue, and I know that my research partners will also continue to want to keep making sure that the Banyamulenge community's voice is heard.
Rero nje kubwanje nzakomeza kandi ndabizi yuko nabo dukorana tuzakomeza kugeza igihe ijwi ry'abanyamurenge rizumvikana.
And the Banyamulenge should never stop fighting.
Kandi namwe abanyamurenge ntimukareke muzakomerezeho.
And the Gatumba Memorial it's a past event, but it's a symbolic event as well of the ongoing struggle of the community today.
Rero nubwo ubwicanyi bwa Gatumba ari ibintu byatambutse, ariko ni nk'urwibutso rw'ibintu bikomeza kuba ku banyamurenge.
Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
We thank you very much, Tom, for working hard to get our voice across.
We
now going to welcome Lisa.
She's
from Amnesty International.
One of
the biggest advocacy organization in the world.
N'umwe mu miryango ivugira abantu ku isi yose.
And she's in charge of Burundi, Congo, Rwanda, and Central Africa.
Akaba akorera mu Burundi, mu Rwanda, Congo ndetse na Afrika Central. Nawe aratubwira amagambo magufi.
Thank you.
Akoze.
Keep this short. Thank you so much for inviting me to this just incredibly powerful, moving and important event today.
Mwakoze cyane kuntumira muri iki gikorwa cy'uyu munsi, igikorwa cy'agaciro kenshi.
As you said, I'm a volunteer with Amnesty International, and at its
ndi umuvolontere mu muryango wa Amnesty International.
At its heart, Amnesty is a membership organization of ordinary people from around the world who believe that by coming together, we can campaign for human rights for all.
Amnesty International ni umuryango wizera yuko duhurije hamwe ku bumwe dushobora kurwanira agateka kazina muntu.
And we can call for an end to human rights abuses across the globe, like the shocking event.
Ndetse tukarwanya ubwicanyi nk'ubu ngubu bwabereye muri Gatumba.
It is shocking today to think that it has now been 20 years since the horrific attack on the refugee camp of Gatumba on the 13th of August 2004.
Biteye agahinda yuko imyaka 20 ishize habaye ubwicanyi mu nkambi ya Gatumba ku Banyamulenge.
It's horrifying to hear how Banyamulenge refugees were targeted there.
Biteye ubwoba kumva yuko abantu b'Abanyamulenge babashe gutoranwa kugira ngo bicwe.
With 166 people systematically and deliberately killed and many more wounded.
Aho abantu 136 bishwe byateguwe ndetse biri no muri gahunda.
All these years later, it is appalling that there has still been no justice and no accountability for this horrific violation of human rights.
Birababaje yuko imyaka yose ishize nta muntu n'umwe wari wazanwa imbere y'ubutabera.
Amnesty International has repeatedly called for independent and impartial investigation and for the perpetrators of this atrocity to be brought to justice through domestic or international legal processes.
Umuryango wa Amnesty International wagerageje imyaka yose ishize kugira ngo abantu bakoze ubwo bwicanyi bazanwe imbere y'ubutabera.
We also know that violence continues today. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, we see human rights abuses by armed groups continue.
Kandi turabizi yuko ubwicanyi bw'amarebele akomeje mu gihugu cya Congo no kuri uyu munsi.
Particularly in eastern provinces of the country, where the Banyamulenge community continue to face serious violations of their human rights.
Cyane muri este aho hakomeje kugaragara ubwicanyi butubahirizwa agateka kazina muntu.
In June, as the president of the DRC began his second and final term of office, Amnesty International called for action to tackle the ongoing human rights crisis, highlighting key human rights issues that need to be addressed urgently.
Mu kwezi kwa gatandatu aho umuyobozi wa Congo yatangiye manda ya kabiri, umuryango wa Amnesty International wahamagariye yuko leta ya Congo yagaragaza gukora ibyo ishoboye kugira ngo ihagarike ubwicanyi bukomeza kuba muri Congo ahantu hose.
In particular, the need for a human rights-centered response which complies with international humanitarian law and protects people who are at risk.
Cyane yuko Congo yagaragaza kubaha agateka kazina muntu nkuko isi yose cyangwa se bijanye n'amategeko ku isi.
And an end to impunity with full investigation and prosecution of those responsible for serious crimes and human rights violations.
Cyane yuko abantu bakoze amabi nk'aya ngaya bazanwa imbere y'ubutabera.
This is crucial for justice for victims and because widespread impunity and a lack of accountability continues to fuel human rights abuses.
Cyane nibyo gaciro kugira ngo kuzanwa kw'ubutabera bw'aba bantu byahagarika ibintu nk'ibi bikomeza kuba mu minsi iri imbere.
20 years on, there have been no prosecutions of those responsible for the Gatumba massacre, and the fight for justice must still continue all these years later.
Imyaka 20 irashize nta muntu n'umwe wari wazanwa imbere y'ubutabera.
But there is hope.
Ariko hari icyizere.
This event today, everyone here marking the Gatumba massacre, making sure that it's not forgotten.
Hari icyizere nk'igikorwa cy'uyu munsi ni igikorwa kigerageza kurwanya yuko ibintu nk'ibi ngibi cyangwa se ibintu byabaye bitazibagirwa.
The fight for justice continues, and from today we can spread and raise awareness of what happened on that terrible day.
Guhera uyu munsi twagerageza tukerekana amajwi yacu kugira ngo tuzumvikane.
This week, as we reach the 20th anniversary of Gatumba, Amnesty International again renewed its call for justice to be done for the victims, for the survivors, and for their families.
Muri iki cyumweru aho imyaka 20 nyuma ya Genocide ya Gatumba, Amnesty International yatangiye cyangwa se yakomeje kandi guhamagara yuko haba ubutabera ku bantu bishwe mu Gatumba ndetse n'abasizwe.
Today, as we remember those who were killed, we stand in solidarity with you in your campaign for justice, and we will continue to call for accountability and justice for this horrific crime.
Uyu munsi twibuka duhagaranye namwe duhamagara ubutabera ku bwicanyi bwabaye ndetse tuzakomeza guharana namwe mu bumwe. Murakoze.
Thank you ever so much, Lisa.
Arakoze cyane Lisa.
Just to let you know, we are running out of our time.
Kambamenyeshe ko turimo
But if you could accommodate us,
ariko nimba mushobora
we
kutwemerera
have a couple of speakers still coming
dufite abantu bagomba kutugeza hano
with very important speeches.
kandi na majambo y'agaciro.
But for those who may be rushing,
ariko ku bantu barimo bihuta,
we have prepared some refreshment and food.
hari ibintu twateguye byo kurya.
Please, as you leave, don't go without eating.
nimba urimo wihuta ntugende.
We have protocols.
Dufite protocol.
Officers.
Dufite
protocol officers.
Dufite aba protocol hariya.
They will show you where to go.
Baraza kubereka aho mwabasha kujya.
But please stay with us
ariko mugumane natwe
as we go more speakers to come.
kugira ngo tubashe kumva amajambo y'aba bantu bagifite.
I will now would like to welcome Adele Kibasumba.
Niyegereze Adele Kibasumba.
She's going to speak on behalf of Banyamulenge Global Network.
Aravuga nk'userukiye abanyamulenge bose ku isi.
In the world.
Ku isi yose.
And on behalf of Mahoro Peace Association.
Ndetse araserukira Mahoro Peace Association.
Kibasumba has worked tirelessly.
Kibasumba yakoze n'imbaraga nyinshi.
To mobilize.
Kugerageza kwegeranya.
All the Banyamulenge around the world.
Abanyamulenge ku isi yose.
To work hard.
Gukora cyane.
And to support the Banyamulenge who are left destitute in Minembwe area.
Kugira ngo dufashe abacika cumu kuri za
and she's here to give us some insight of what she's doing.
Reka tubwire
Very welcome.
Muraho neza. Murambabarira ndatanga ubutumwa bwanje mu Cyongereza ku bacumva.
So I'm going to give my message in English.
And then
hanyuma
ndaza kuvuga ubutumwa mu Kinyamulenge mbwira abanyamulenge.
She's going to give her speech in Kinyamulenge thereafter.
So kugira ngo tuchunguze uburyo mwete. Thank you. Urakoze cyane. Sawa? Okay. Distinguished guests, MPs, mayor representatives, members of City Council, friends of Banyamulenge, members of Banyamulenge community. My name is Adele Kibasumba. I am a member of Banyamulenge community, and I'm here as a representative of the Banyamulenge in diaspora. It is a great honor to be here today, joining my community of Banyamulenge in the United Kingdom, UK, our friends, and the British people to commemorate the lives of 166 innocent civilians killed on the night of August 13, 2004 on the basis of their ethnic identity. Among the 166 people include my little sister, Deborah Mukogajana Munyakuri. She was just 7 years old. She was shot and killed while on her mother's back. Her body was later burned, and we could only identify it by her unburned remains the morning after. 3 of my family members, my mom, my 2 brothers were among the hundreds of wounded. Since we left Burundi, we were resettled in many different parts of the world. We left our loved ones buried in a country that failed to give them safety, and yet rewarded their killers by elevating them to the highest positions in the Burundian government, and others in the Democratic Republic of Congo continue to operate with the support of Congolese government. Today, I am thrilled to witness the history in making of the unveiling of the stone dedicated to the memories of those victims in Gatumba. While this event is personal to me and my community, it is remarkable. It is a remarkable act of kindness, humanity, solidarity, and compassion. It shows the British people's values in action. Refusal to distance themselves from horrific events that happen 500,000 miles away from Manchester. It is an advanced understanding that what affects one directly affects another indirectly. It challenges the idea of us and them. You have not only offered us a place of sanctuary, but you heard and owned our stories and demonstrated our shared humanity. This is not new to Britain. British people responded to the massive violence against the Jews in Kristallnacht, pardon my pronunciation, on November 19 and 10 of 1938. They offered a heaven to thousands of children at risk of living under the Nazi yoke. I have read many inspiring stories of British individuals who reached out during some of the most horrific histories and created countless doors that led people to safety. I'm here to thank you. By this act, the Sanford City has provided hope for the Gatumba survivors, the hope by recognizing the victims by their name. In our tradition, when you are unable to bury your deceased relatives, it's as if they continue to die. This is a stone of hope, memory, and allyship and acceptance. I thank you. I'm here to remind you the commitment made by the international community hours following the Gatumba genocide. A report dated 18 October 2004, jointly produced by the United Nations Organization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUC, the United Nations Operation in Burundi, ONUB, and Office of the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights, concluded that the attack was clearly directed against the Banyamulenge refugee and ethnically and politically motivated. Various sources, including the above UN reports, but also reports of Human Rights Watch, compiled credible evidence, leaving little doubts over the responsibility in the massacre. The available evidence clearly indicated that Burundian Force National Liberation, Palipehutu FNL, and Force Démocratique Libération du Rwanda, FDLR, the Congolese Army, FRDC, Mai Mai militias were directly involved in the Gatumba massacre. I want to quote some of the world leaders' declaration. The Security Council called upon authorities of Burundi of the Democratic Republic of Congo to cooperate actively so that the perpetrators and those responsible for these crimes be brought to justice without delay. United Nations Council, August 15, 2004. France condemns with utmost firmness the terrible massacre of Congolese refugees that occurred in Gatumba on Burundi's territory. It is currently in close contact with Security Council partners. The fact must be established without delay so that these crimes do not go unpunished. This is the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs on August 16, 2004. The UK responded too. Foreign Office Minister Dr. Denis McShane today condemned the killing of over 150 people during a raid on the Gatumba camp in Burundi, which is sheltering refugees from Democratic Republic of Congo. United Kingdom Foreign and Commonwealth Office on August 14, 2004. It's worth to mention that the UK made the first statement to condemn the violence. It is not only terrorism within one state which has to be the concern of the international community as a whole, but other conflicts too. The situation in Darfur in the Sudan, from where I returned last week, demands action both because it is a human tragedy, because it affects the whole region through the spread of instability and the movement of refugees. And in Gatumba, in Burundi, the horrific massacre of a few weeks ago underlines continuing potential of the conflict to destabilize the Great Lakes and challenges with the UN force there has to face. This is the Foreign Secretary, again on September 3rd in 2004. The United States made similar statements as well. The stone is an important remembrance and history, a history education. It marks Sanford City Council commitment to collective pledge of never again. The stone will serve as an educative opportunity for generations to equip them in fighting all forms of hate and genocide ideology. More importantly, in these warring times where we witnessed an increased expression of divisionism, extremism, and hatred in many parts of the world, it sends a clear message that the Sanford City Council offers the right conditions, environment, and platform for the promotion of justice and values compassion and human dignity. This stone offers an opportunity to reflect on lessons learned from the failure of the international community to prevent and stop the execution of the genocide everywhere and the ongoing persecution of Banyamulenge in the DRC. I am here to extend my gratitude to specific local officials and the roles that it plays in this journey that led to this event. Sanford City Mayor Paul Dennett and Sanford City Council for hosting Banyamulenge and also the Labour Party. A special thanks to MP Rebecca Long Bailey. Before I talk about Rebecca's supports to our community, I want to share my view on the reason the genocide is still committed in the world. The world has not developed the international institution needed to predict and prevent it. The world's leaders do not have the political will to stop it. Rebecca is an example and an exception for these obstacles. You have worked tirelessly, consistently, and constantly to prevent another genocide and raise awareness of the persecution that was faced by the Banyamulenge. You have refused the idea of neutrality in situation of injustices. You are an example in the true sense of allyship. Your actions and dedications amplify and advocate for our community's plot. I believe that meaningful, authentic inclusion is effective if each one of us can sympathize and advocate for a marginalized social group that is different to our own identity. Unfortunately, the plot against Banyamulenge continues to date in their home DRC. Since 2017, the remaining Banyamulenge population has been targeted by the militia such as Mai Mai, Red Tabara, with the intent to forcefully remove them from their villages. Academics and local sources have established that Mai Mai, often in coordination with the elements of the FARDC, that's the regular army, have burned hundreds of villages, looted thousands of cattle, which are essential to the Banyamulenge's livelihood, killed thousands of people, and besieged thousands of displaced Banyamulenge in and among others the Minembwe area in South Kivu where they come from. While we acknowledge and condemn the violence that many Congolese face in the eastern DRC, it is important, like Thomas said, to know that the Banyamulenge and Tutsi in general, civilians have been disproportionately targeted with violence and hate speech. This pattern follows decades of persecution and rejection of their collective identity that only increase in recent years, with rhetoric becoming more extreme and violence is getting more devastating. I'm here to bring a message to the UK government that conflict in DRC is not as complex as many international partners tend to think. Peace and stability in DRC depend on whether the DRC authorities can address the blacks on blacks racial division of the ethnic component of the DRC nation into so-called native and non-native people. I want to end by quoting the late Bishop of South Africa, Desmond Tutu. If you're neutral in a situation of injustice, you side with the oppressor. If the elephant has his foot on a mouse, you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate it. Thank you. Murakoze cyane. Okay, urakoze cyane. Byari ngombwa cyane ko mbwira abantu bumva ururimi rw'icyongereza kandi ntanga message ku bantu batazi ibibazo byacu. Rimwe na rimwe turaza tukibwira twenyine ibyo navuga, ibi byose navuga ni nk'ibyo namwe mwovuga, ariko nashatse kubivuga mu rurimi bumva kugira ngo bagire icyo batahana. Ariko ndashaka kurangiza mbashimira, ariko cyane cyane ntanga mpore ku bacikacumu. Nanje ndi umucikacumu, nanze guharugurukana nabo kuko biza biremera cyane, hanyuma waza kuvuga nyuma nawe bikakunanira. Nifuza kubahereza mpore mwese abacikacumu babuza ababo mu Gatumba, mpore cyane. Ariko ndashaka gutanga mpore no ku bandi bacikacumu y'ubundi bwicanyi bwagiye bubera ahantu hatandukanye mu bibogobogo. Ndabizi iyo ibi bintu bivuzwe bizana trauma nyinshi ku bibazo abanyamurenge bose bagiye bahura navyo. Twebwe ku bavandimwe bacu bava muri Great Lakes nk'abarundi n'abanyarwanda, nkuko mubiza abanyamurenge twese turavukana. Abo twabuze mu Gatumba buriya bavukana n'abandi benshi batari bariyo mu Gatumba, kandi intandukaniro yacu abari mu Gatumba n'abandi batari bariyo nuko batari bariyo. Iyo baza kubayo nabo baba barapfushije, nabo baba barapfuye, nabo baba baramugaye. Kandi ubwicanyi bwo mu Gatumba nubwo ari bwo tuzi, ari bwo buvugwa cyane ku mu mahanga, nubwo buri documented, abanyamurenge si bwo bwa mbere bishwe ahantu hatandukanye, mu Bibogobogo, Ikabera, mu iriya Irubumbashi, Ikamina, Ikinshasa, Ibukavu, n'ahantu henshi dukorerwa genocide yitwa slow genocide. N'ubu nyine kuva mu 2017 kugeza n'uyu munsi, abasigaye muri Congo nabo barimo barakorerwa a slow genocide nka ya yindi yabaye mu Gatumba. Itandukaniro y'ibyabaye mu Gatumba n'ibirimo kubiri iwacu ni ukubera yuko tutari mu nkambi, twari iwacu. Abantu banga gutega ijosi kugira ngo umwanzi aze kandi arase, atemagure, yice, narangiza aspraying gaze nkuko bayispraying mu Gatumba, batwike. Ico kintu abanyamurenge bafungutse amaso, baracanze. Niyo mpamvu abanyamurenge bake basigaye iwacu, kandi ari nayo mpamvu twebwe twarokotse mu Gatumba. Ni inshingano zacu ku making sure ko nta wundi munyamurenge wishwe nk'uko yishwe mu Gatumba. Ibyo byose twopfa nk'abanyamurenge ikiduhuriyeho twese ni urwango twangwa, ni ugushaka ko badukura mu gihugu cyacu, ni ugushaka yuko twese dupfa tugashira. Iyo bigeze hariya ntabwo ngo azabaze ngo se wewe ubyumva gute cyangwa wowe ubyumva gute, bapfa kureba uko usa, bapfa kureba uko uvuga, barakwica, ntabwo batekereza na rimwe ibyo utekereza n'ibyo wemera. Rero iyo hageze muri icyo gihe birasaba yuko twese duhuza imitima tukagwanya akarengane, tukagwanya yuko bene wacu tuzoza tuza tukabibuka tukavuga gutya, ariko hagera kuvuga ngo dukore tubipreventinge, tuzamagane, tubibuze, abandi bakavuga ngo yaye si uku nguku bigomba gukorwa, jewe simzemera. Uwo mwanya nta mwanya dufite bavandimwe. Ndabasaba rero ahari turaza kubona undi mwanya tuza kuganira nk'abanyamurenge twenyine mu nzu ko tugomba gushira hamwe tukagwanya akarengane katuri hejuru, tukanga kwemera yuko tuzongera kandi kugirirwa nk'uko twagiriwe mu Gatumba n'ahandi henshi. Mukomere, twakoze cyane kuri iki kintu cy'ubutabera. Ibi bintu byose mwabonye biba hariya turabishigikiye. Ndashaka kuvuga akantu kamwe, hari abantu batekereza ko abantu bakora hari bashaka izindi nyungu. Igihe Councilor Murura yabitangiye abirobinga muri City Council, hari option yo kuvuga ngo twabemereye ariko mwitonde, tuzabashakira funding, tuzabashakira funding izaze ibubakire kiriya gituro mwabonye hariya. Ariko kubera yuko ibi bintu bitureba n'ibyacu, abanyamurenge bose, amamitualite yose yarakontribuwe kugira ngo twubake kiriya. Ibintu byose aho bigeze, mwabonye ama statement nasomye imiryango mpuzamahanga yose yakoze nyuma y'Agatumba bamaze gupfa. Nations Unies, Amerika, iki gihugu murimwo, France n'ibindi bihugu byinshi byakondanye ubwicanyi zo mu Gatumba. Ariko kugeza n'uyu munsi nta butabera baraduhereza kandi aribo bari baturinze. Ariko uyu munsi navuze yuko abanyamurenge bake basigaye bariho kubera yuko abanyamurenge babahagazeho. Iyo mutaza kubahagararaho ntago baba bahari, baba barapfuye kuko nguko abacu bapfuye. Nibi ngibi tuhaye dukora biratureba. Umunsi mwifashe mukavuga ngo nti mubikora, muzapfa, muzashira, muzarira, bazaza kubahoza ariko muzapfa. Rero ibintu byose ni twebwe tugomba kubikora. Aho tugeze mu nzira y'ubutabera ni mu maboko yanyu abanyamurenge, aho muri mwese. Turi hano muri UK ariko turafatikanyije ku isi hose. Duhuza imbaraga zacu kugira ngo twigire, kugira ngo icyo twokora tugikore twenyine. Abandi bazabaza bazavuga ngo akimuhira akimuhana kazi imvura ihise. Iyo niyo ideology tugomba kwigira, abandi bakaza batwuririraho. Baradufashije, baduhaye aho twubaka, barabitwemerera, ni ikintu gikomeye cyane pe. Ariko iyo tuza kwifata tukavuga ngo ntibitureba bazogeraho batwubakire, ntituba twatashe kiriya stone uyu munsi. Rero ibintu byose dukora, ino nsaraza kuvuga hejuru y'ubutabera aho tugeze, twabikoze mu myaka nk'ine. Abantu bapfuye imyaka 20 ishize. Ariko iyo abantu bicaye gusa bakomeza bakaririra abandi, ntawe ukureba, ntawe ukwitaho, ntimushamaje, ntimuteye imbabazi. Ariko umunsi mwahagaze mukavuga ngo murabishakisha, muzabigeraho. Aho tugeze ino nsaraza kubaheza ibirego byose byaratanzwe, byakozwe mu myaka iri munsi y'itatu. Kubera iki? Kubera ko abanyamurenge bonyine bahagurutse, bamara guhaguruka n'abandi bakabuririraho. Rero turabashimiye cyane kubyo mwakoze, turaza no gukomeza no kubashimira, ariko tunabaha courage ko iki kintu cyo kwibuka ni ikintu tugomba kuva hano kiduhaye undi mwuka. Nakaza mbona abanyamurenge n'abantu basenga cyane, bazabaja mu mikutano bagasenga, bakaja mu ihuduma. Iyo bavuye mwe baba bafite ububyutse, bagenda bagashahira abandi, n'abandi batagiye mu ihuduma bakaza bose bafite nk'umwuka. Iki kintu cyo kwibuka tugomba kuva hano dufite imbaraga zidusunika noneho gukora ibisigaye, tukazasigira abana bacu aho ahantu heza, apana kubaraga ibyo mwananiwe. Murakoze cyane.
Arakoze cyane Adele yasabye ko abanyamuryango
Thank you, Adele, for her remarks.
abanyamurenge bose bari hano nibarangiza gufungura yifuzaga kuganira namwe none nyabuneka muze kuboneka muganire na Adele na delegation. Murakoze cyane. Thank you very much for the great remarks from Adele.
Arakoze cyane ku magambo meza atugejejeho.
I will now would like to welcome Councillor Alexis Murura Shama
kwiyegereza Councillor Alexis Murura Shama
to introduce our special guest today.
yegereza ahamagara umutume wacu
Thank you very much.
uyu munsi.
arakoze utanga amajambo.
Thank you for the host.
Mbere yuko twiyegereza our main speaker cyangwa umushyitsi wacu mukuru,
Before we welcome our main speaker today,
na mu presente mbere,
let me present him first.
aradufasha byinshi cyane.
He helps us a lot.
Mbere yaho hariho message former vice president wa Congo,
There's a message from the former vice president of Congo,
Maître Rubegwa Arzarias,
from Mr. Azarias.
bari bamutumiye abahagarariye umuryango hano kuza kubana natwe.
He was invited to be here today,
yayohereje ngo tuyibasomere hano
but he has sent a message for us to
kuko
read out.
twifatikanyije nawe, avuga ko twifatikanyije nawe. Iravuga mu Gifaransa. I will try. Madame Jacqueline Ingabire, présidente de la communauté Banyamulenge UK Association. Bonjour, j'ai bien reçu votre invitation pour participer à la commémoration du 20e anniversaire du génocide de Banyamulenge à Gatumba, au Burundi.
The former vice president is thanking the president of Baka in the UK for the invitation.
Je tiens à vous remercier sincèrement d'avoir pensé à m'inviter.
He would like to sincerely thank Madame Jacqueline for the invitation.
Ça aurait dû être un moment de partager, de consolation et d'encouragement au regard de nôtres qui ont quitté tragiquement.
It would have been a great moment for me to attend, to remember the massacres of
J'aurais bien voulu également assister à l'inauguration du mémorial érigé en soutenir de notre.
I would have loved to be at the memorial ceremony
Pour la première fois.
for the first time.
Par ailleurs, je vous félicite de cet acte qui symbolise notre courage et notre détermination à pérenniser leur mémoire.
I would like to thank you for thinking of keeping their memory alive.
D'autres pays et villes cités devraient imiter votre exemple.
Other countries should follow the suit as UK did.
Malencontreusement, je suis au regret de vous signaler que je ne suis pas venu, notamment pour avoir reçu l'invitation de la Fondation Gatumba bien avant la vôtre.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend because I already had other plannings for ceremony in Phoenix.
Venions de commémorer ensemble cet événement à Phoenix, à Arizona.
We just had commemorated in Phoenix, Arizona.
Je vous présente donc mes sincères excuses.
I would like to sincerely excuse myself.
Tout en vous souhaitant une bonne méditation.
And would like to wish you a good meditation.
Pour que plus jamais un tel événement ne se reproduise.
So that this heinous crime will never happen again.
J'espère que vous aurez le temps de vous rendre visite. J'aurai le temps de vous rendre visite à l'avenir.
I would hope to visit you in the future.
Mes salutations aux membres du board et de l'exécutif de notre organisation.
I extend my salutation to the member of board and team.
Et mes encouragements à l'ensemble de la communauté, particulièrement aux victimes et survivants qui seraient parmi vous.
I would like to greet members of the community and victims.
Dieu soit avec vous.
that Lord God be with you.
Maître Azarias Rubegwa, former Vice President of the Republic of Congo.
That's Maître Azarias Ruberwa, former President of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Murakoze.
Thank you very much.
Rero reka twiyegereze our main speaker, our main guest speaker.
Let's welcome our main speaker for today.
Ntabwo nkeneye kumvuga abantu benshi bamwumvishe ku bikorwa dukorera.
I will not go into details of the work he does for us.
Welcome MP Rebecca Long Bailey.
Welcome MP Rebecca Long Bailey.
Thank you. It was an honour earlier today
Murakoze, nakishwe bugufi uyu munsi
to be at the unveiling of the memorial stone.
kuba nabaye mu kwerekwa kw'ibuye ry'urwibutso.
And I just want to thank again everybody who made that happen today.
Reka kandi nshimire buri wese wagize icyo akora kugira ngo ikintu cyabaye umunsi kibashe gusoza.
Particularly Councillor Alexis Sharma,
Kubw'umwihariko cyane cyane Councillor Alexis Sharma,
Councillor Wilson Nkurunziza,
Councillor Wilson Nkurunziza,
Salford councillors who are here today,
ndetse n'abandi ba councillors babashe kuba hano kuri uyu munsi.
our city mayor,
Mayor wacu wa muri Salford,
and of course, most importantly, the Banyamulenge Community Association.
ariko cyane cyane kubw'umwihariko community y'Abanyamulenge hano mu Bwongereza.
And Banyamulenge leaders right across the UK and across the world.
Ndetse n'ubuyobozi bw'Abanyamulenge hano mu Bwongereza ndetse n'isi yose.
And what I'd say to everybody who's visiting Salford today from other parts of the UK and even other parts of the world,
icyo nabwira abantu babashe kuza Salford kudusura bwa mbere uyu munsi bava ahandi mu Bwongereza ndetse ahandi mu bindi bice ku isi,
is that you are always welcome in Salford.
igihe cyose ni karibu kuza hano muri Salford.
And one thing I'll say about Salford
Ikintu
is
navuga kuri Salford,
it's not just a city,
ntabwo ari umujyi gusa,
it's a state of mind.
ni ikintu cyo mu bitekerezo.
So we are all Salford.
Twese turi Salford.
Now, as we know,
Nk'uko tubizi,
the Gatumba genocide is one of the most difficult events to remember for those survivors.
Genocide yakorewe mu Gatumba ni ikintu gikomeye cyane kwibuka ku bantu basizwe cyangwa se abacikacumu.
And listening to the testimony of the brave people who spoke to us today,
Numva ubuhamya bw'abantu batuganirije uyu munsi,
it makes it so important for politicians like myself and communities like ours
bitanga agaciro ku bayobozi nkanje cyangwa se abandi bayobozi mu makominote yacu,
to not just tell the story,
kutavuga inkuru gusa,
to fight for justice.
ariko kurwanira ubutabera.
And it's important to stress, as we've heard from speakers today,
Ni iby'agaciro kugira ngo nyuma yo kumva abantu bavuze uyu munsi,
that what happened in Gatumba was one of the darkest days of humanity.
ibintu byabereye mu Gatumba wari umunsi w'umwijima mu mateka y'umuntu ku isi.
But despite international condemnation,
Nubwo hatabayeho kwamagana, amahanga atamaganye,
those who committed the atrocities are still free.
abantu bakoze ayo mabi barakigendera,
Criminal sanctions were not imposed,
nta bihano bahawe,
and the Banyamulenge people still suffer persecution to this day.
ndetse Abanyamulenge bakomeje kwicwa kuri uyu munsi.
And in fact, only a few years ago, in August 2022,
mu mwaka washize, imyaka ibiri ishize, mu kwezi kwa munani 2022,
Genocide Watch released a report labelling the actions against the Banyamulenge people a genocide emergency.
Niho umuryango wa Genocide Watch wabashe gusohora raporo yemeza yuko ibintu byabaye ku Banyamulenge ari genocide.
And we can hear the fear in the voices of the survivors who spoke to us today.
Twabashaga kumva ubwoba mu majwi y'abantu bavuze uyu munsi baduha ubuhamya.
The fear that whilst in our minds we think something like Gatumba could never happen again.
Ijwi rivuga yuko ibintu nk'ibi byabereye mu Gatumba bidashobora kuzabaho.
They know all too well the realities that it can.
Bazi cyangwa se bafite ukuri kwemeza yuko ibintu byabaye bishobora kuzahaba kandi.
They know the fear of how things can turn on a knife edge.
Bafite ubwoba yuko ibintu bishobora guhinduka bigahinduka nabi cyane.
And descend rapidly into the sheer depths of depravity.
Bigahindukira biba kubura ibintu.
Now it's because of this fear.
Ni kubera ubwoba.
We have to do everything that we can.
Tugomba gukora ibyo dushobora byose.
To tell stories.
Gutanga inkuru zacu.
Secure justice.
Kurwanira ubutabera.
But also make sure that we have an international political community that stands against hate and responds to it quickly.
Ariko cyane cyane turwanira umuryango mpuzamahanga urwanya ibintu nk'ibi ngibi cyangwa se kurwanira ubutabera.
And there's a few things that we still need the UK government to do.
Hari n'ibintu bisigaye dukeneye yuko leta y'Ubwongereza yakora.
We've got a new Labour government now.
Dufite leta nshasha ya Labour.
And we need to ask them to encourage the governments of Burundi, the DRC and other countries in the sub-region to cooperate in the restoration of peace.
Turashaka kubasaba tubashishikariza ko bashishikariza leta y'u Burundi, leta ya Kongo ndetse na biriya bihugu by'ububanyi yuko bashaka amahoro.
We need to call on our government to ensure that they urge the government of the DRC to stop the attacks against the civilian Banyamulenge.
Tugomba kubashishikariza ko basaba leta ya Kongo gushaka no guhagarika ubwicanyi bwa ku Banyamulenge.
And to provide urgent assistance to the hundreds of thousands of displaced people living in terrible conditions in Minembwe, Mikenge, Bijombo and Bagwera.
Kandi tubasaba yuko batanga ubufashe bwihutirwa bw'ibanze ku bantu bahunze mu bice bya Minembwe, Mikenke ndetse na Bijombo.
And finally,
ndangiza,
we need more than nods.
Dukeneye ibintu birenze gusa kwemera gushaganya umutwe wemera.
Upset faces from our politicians.
Wabaye cyangwa se byaguteye agahinda.
We need the UK to finally use its position on the UN Security Council to ensure the international community upholds the promise of justice.
Tugomba cyangwa se tugomba gushishikariza leta y'Ubwongereza ko ikoresha imbaraga ifite muri UN kugira ngo habeho ubutabera.
And the UN should be using all means at its disposal to bring the perpetrators to justice.
Kandi UN yakagombye gukoresha imbaraga zose ifite kugira ngo izana abantu bakoze ibintu imbere y'ubutabera.
Now there are just a few things that we need to see action on, and it's taken 20 years for us to get to this point, and still not much has happened.
Ibi ni ibintu twakagombye cyangwa se twari dukeneye yuko leta y'Ubwongereza yakora, ariko hashize imyaka 20 nta kintu kirakoreka.
But what I will say to you today
ariko icyo nababwira kuri uyu munsi
is that along with amazing people like Alexis, our Banyamulenge community leaders,
hamwe na abantu nka Alexis, abayobozi bo muri komite y'Abanyamulenge,
and the people within our communities right up and down the UK and across the world,
ndetse hamwe n'andi ma community ahantu hose mu Bwongereza ndetse no ku isi yose,
will use our voice
tuzakoresha amajwi yacu
to keep demanding justice.
Gusaba ubutabera.
And sometimes it can feel that you're shouting into the wind, if I'm honest.
Rimwe na rimwe bigaragara nk'aho arimo usakuriza abantu batakumva.
But it's only when you get to the point where you're fed up of your own voice
ariko hari igihe bigera ukarambirwa n'ijwi ryawe
that you finally see that change that you've been waiting for happen.
ariko icyo gihe nicyo ubona izo mpinduka wifuzaga cyangwa se wasabaga.
So let's keep fighting.
Reka dukomeje kurwana.
And let's keep supporting each other.
Reka dukomeje gufashanya.
And remember now, we're all Salford. We're all part of this Salford family
twese
together.
turi Salford, twese turi hamwe.
So solidarity and enjoy the rest of today. Thank you.
Ubumwe murakoze. Thank you.
Thank you so much, MP Rebecca.
Arakoze cyane MP Rebecca.
And we know we have gone over our time schedule,
N'umwanya wadusize,
but please bear with us.
mutubabarire cyane mutwihanganire.
We are going to finish and we're going to have some refreshment.
Tugiye kurangiza dufata ikintu hariya cyo kurya.
But we do have few people still to speak.
Ariko turacafite abantu bakeya bo kuvuga.
I will announce a couple of names.
Hari amazina ngiye kubabwira.
They can come all to stand here.
Bose batambukira
Each one
icyarimwe.
will have a minute to speak.
Buri muntu wese turamuha umunota umwe.
Banyamulenge have friends.
Abanyamulenge bafite inshuti.
And I would like to name Burundian community
Reka mvuge ku minota
who
y'abarundi.
have stood up
Bahagaranye.
and said what happened is not in their name.
Bagahagarara bavuga ko ibyabaye bitari mu izina ryabo.
And they've always been with us throughout the journey.
Kandi bakomeje kubana natwe muri uru rugenzi.
I would like to welcome Emery
Reka niyegereze Emery
and sister, just bear with me. And Claudia,
Claudia,
if they
Sister
come
Claudia,
forward
nimba bashobora
and have
gutambuka.
just 1 minute.
Katubaho umunota umwe umwe
I would
babwira icyo
like
tugezaho.
to also welcome
Nashakaga kandi
the leader of
kwakira
community, Rwandan community.
umuntu ukuriye community y'abanyarwanda.
Rwandans have also faced a genocide
Muzi ko abanyarwanda nabo babashe guhura na
and
jenoside.
they have overcome all the challenges possible.
Ariko ibo bagerageje kurwanya ibigeragezo
And
byose.
now they are coming, they are attending our event.
Kuri uyu munsi bari bashe
I would like to
kwitabira.
welcome the president of Rwandan community, Hamisi.
Reka niyegereze umuyobozi wa community y'abanyarwanda Hamisi Agizimfura
to come forward
nawe
and have a
atambuke.
minute of
Nawe
a word as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm always happy to be part of this ceremony.
Buri gihe muranezezwa no kuba ndi hano.
And ever since you started to remember here in the UK, I have never missed even one single
Kuva
event.
mwatangira kwibuka nta n'umwaka n'umwe nari nasiba.
This is something that is close to my heart.
Iki ni ikintu kiri hafi y'umutima wanje.
But today I'm speaking on behalf of the Burundian community in Greater Manchester.
Ariko uyu munsi ndi hano nserukiye community y'abarundi muri Manchester.
And then I'll just say a few words on my own behalf as well.
Nyuma yaho ndaza kuvuga amagambo make ku bwanje bwite cyane njyenyine.
Burundians and the Banyamulenge community are but one community.
Abarundi, community y'abarundi ni umuntu umwe.
Ni y'Abanyamulenge.
Ni y'Abanyamulenge ni umuntu umwe.
So we are brothers and sisters.
Turabavandimwe.
We share a lot.
Dusangiye byinshi.
Be it here in the UK but also back home.
Ari hano mu Bwongereza ndetse naho dukomoka.
But it is always a shame to every Burundian that the Banyamulenge who were killed in Gatumba couldn't get the protection of our own government.
Twe bidutera isoni nk'abarundi kubona ko abanyamurenge batabashwe kurindwa byari bikwiriye.
As you know, they were under the protection of first and foremost the Burundian government and secondly the UNHCR.
Nkuko mwari mubizi imbere na mbere bari munsi y'umutekano wa leta y'u Burundi hanyuma munsi ya leta munsi ya UN.
And both the UN and the government of Burundi failed to give the protection they deserved.
Ari leta y'u Burundi ari UN bose baratsinzwe mu gutanga umutekano.
But I'll tell you something that no one is mentioning here.
Reka mbabwiye ikintu nta muntu n'umwe wakivuga.
You know, the massacre, or rather the genocide of Gatumba, is in the follow-up of many other massacres, and there was one reason.
ubwicanyi bwabereye mu Gatumba n'ubwicanyi bwakurikiye ubundi bwicanyi bwinshi bwabaye kandi bwose bahurije ku kintu kimwe.
You remember the 1994 Rwandan genocide?
Mwese muribuka genocide 1999 y'Abanyarwanda.
The target were the Tutsi.
Abantu batoranyijwe n'Abatutsi.
You remember the massacre in 1996 in Teza in Burundi where 150 people died in 1996?
Muribuka ubwicanyi bwabaye 1996 mu mujyi wa Teza i Burundi.
The target were the Tutsi.
Abantu batoranyijwe kwicwa bari Abatutsi.
You remember the 650 people in the same year in Bugendana in Burundi?
Muribuka abantu 650 muri Bugendana i Burundi.
The target were the Tutsi.
Batoranyijwe ari Abatutsi kwicwa.
And then you remember the 2004
kandi mukibuka mu 2004
Gatumba genocide.
Genocide mu Gatumba.
The target were the Tutsi Banyamulenge of DRC.
Abatoranyijwe bari Abatutsi baba muri Congo.
The question is,
ikibazo nibaza,
why is this always targeting the same people?
Kubera iki bahora batoranyiza ubwoko bumwe?
And what makes the difference between all these other massacres with this Gatumba massacres?
Niki gitandukanya massacre zindi ni massacre yo mu Gatumba?
Is that on this one Burundians and Congolese agreed to come to kill this Tutsi Banyamulenge.
Nuko abarundi n'abakongomani bemeje kuza kwica abanyamulenge.
So an agreement between two countries to kill one people.
Kwemezanya ku bihugu bibiri kuza kwica umuntu umwe ubwoko bumwe.
Now
rero
it is important today to say this.
Niby'agaciro uyu munsi kuvuga ibi ngibi.
And I think I'm informed because I'm a political activist. I'm part of the opposition in Burundi.
Ndavuga ibi ngibi kubera ko mfite amakuru akwiriye nk'umunyapolitike mu gihugu cy'u Burundi.
As we speak today,
tuvuga uyu munsi,
people who killed the Banyamulenge in 2004,
abantu bishe abanyamulenge mu 2004,
who are in power in Burundi, who are the government of Burundi now,
na abantu bafite imyanya y'ubuyobozi muri leta y'u Burundi kuri uyu munsi.
Now they have joined the effort with the government of Congo,
bahuje imbaraga na leta ya Congo,
to go to Congo to kill Tutsi Congolese.
Kuja muri Congo kwica abatutsi b'abakongomani.
I know we care so much about time here, but we're talking about something more important than time. It is human being and their lives.
Nziko tumwe twita kumanya cyane ariko ibintu nko tuganira hano ni ibintu by'agaciro kuko n'ubuzima bw'abantu tumwe tuganiraho.
MP Rebecca mentioned about keeping, shouting, talking, in solidarity to ensure that justice is made.
MP Rebecca yavuze avuga ku kintu cyo kuvuga tuvugira hamwe kugeza igihe ubutabera tuzabugeraho.
In my everyday job I get to meet many politicians in the UK.
Mu kazi kanje ka buri munsi mbona amahirwe yo guhura n'abanyapolitike batandukanye mu gihugu cy'Ubwongereza.
I can tell you how less informed they are about what you're talking
Ndashobora
about.
kubabwira yuko aya makuru ntayo bafite.
It's so great to have Rebecca.
Ni byiza cyane ko dufite Rebecca
as informed as she is.
Ufite amakuru menshi
And it's our duty to continue to get more Rebeccas in that parliament.
Akazi ni akacu kugira ngo tubone abantu benshi nka Rebecca muri parlement y'Ubwongereza.
I can also tell you, and I'm finishing,
ndangiza ariko mbabwira iki kintu,
that if today we are here in Salford,
nimba uyu munsi turi hano muri Salford,
and we see Councillor Alexis,
tubona Councillor Alexis,
and we see Councillor Wilson,
tubona Councillor Wilson,
and other leaders here,
ndetse n'abandi bayobozi,
don't think that things happen on their own.
ntimugire ngo ibintu birikora.
If you don't get time to do things, nothing will happen.
Nudafata umwanya ngo wikorere ikintu nta kintu uzageraho.
Few years ago, and I hope Wilson won't mind, many years ago actually, I asked Wilson, I was in a political activities, and he came, I said, Wilson, why can't you be involved in politics, nationally or locally? He said, I'm not involved and interested in politics.
Myaka ishize naganiriye na Wilson mubwira ati se ko ariko utakwinjira muri politiki, arambwira ati reka ibyo ntago nabija.
I told him, if you don't take care of politics, it will take care of yourself.
Arambwira ati nutinjira muri politiki ayikiniza gukoraho.
I'm glad now he realized it's important, and these two brothers are doing a great job to speak on behalf of all of us in Salford.
rero nkaba nshimira abavandimwe babiri yuko kuri uyu munsi hari ikintu gikomeye bagezeho.
Banyamulenge are Tutsi who are targeted because of who they are. Burundi and Tutsi are in the same situation. In Rwanda, we saw the result of not speaking, and I can guarantee you that this so-called international community is a very well-organized chaos.
Abatutsi muri Kongo, abatutsi mu Rwanda, abatutsi mu Burundi bose bahura n'ibintu n'ikintu kimwe.
They can only do things when they see an immediate interest.
Umuryango mpuzamahanga ukora cyangwa se urwanya iyo babona inyungu zabo.
And at the moment they will see you organized, structured, working, doing everything you can, they will start to listen.
Rero umunsi bazabona mufite imbaraga mukorera hamwe bazatangira kubumva.
It's great time that we, the people of Burundi and the people of Congo, the Banyamulenge, can start to coordinate our efforts to claim but one thing: to stop these targeted killings that always target us. Thank you so much.
Rero ni ngombwa yuko twebwe abatutsi twakuza imbaraga kugira ngo turwanye kino kintu. Murakoze.
Thank you very much. 1 minute for Sister Claudia.
Tumwe Sister Claudia.
Urakoze.
Thank you.
Jewe nitwa Claudia Churinyana.
My name is Claudia Churinyana.
Nserukira abarundi ba mu Bwongereza.
I represent the Burundians in the UK.
Mewosi ngaserukira ama diaspora y'abarundi bari muri Europe.
I also represent Burundi diasporas all around Europe.
Nta majambo menshi mfise y'ukuvuga uno munsi.
I don't have many words to say today.
Abavuze imbere yanje bavuze amajambo menshi kandi meza.
Those who came before me spoke eloquently.
Nagira ngo mpagarare ngaha.
I wanted to stand here.
Ku giti cabo nserukira.
On behalf of those I represent.
No ku giti ciwanje nyene.
But also myself.
Kugira ngo mvuge nti mpore.
As I say sorry.
Ivyabaye nta nuworonka amajambo ashobora kubivugamwo.
There are no words to express what happened.
Ariko turashima Imana kubona hariho abashoboye kurokoka.
But we thank God for the survivors.
Kandi turashima Imana kubona abo barokotse bafatikanije n'abandi.
And we thank God that those who survived are working in cooperation with others.
Muriko murakora igikorwa gishimishije nk'icuno munsi.
To do deeds as such.
Nukuri mumenye yuko tubashigikiye turi nyuma yanyu.
Please know that you have our support.
Nimba hari ico mukeneye kugira ngo tubafashe kubandanya igikorwa mwatanguye.
If you feel like there's any support you can have from us to continue what you have started.
Nukuri imiryango iruguruye.
The doors are open.
Nagira ngo nshime kandi
I also wanted to thank
kubutumire mwarungikiye UKBD diaspora y'abarundi mu Bwongereza
for the invitation you extended to the Burundian community in the UK.
Mon frère Emery haje kubivuga.
As my brother Emery said,
turi bamwe.
We're the same. We are one.
Turi bamwe.
We are one.
Kandi tubandanye dukorera ku mugozi umwe.
And let's continue working united.
Murakoze.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Amisi, on behalf of Rwandan community.
Katwigereza Amisi userukiye umuryango w'Abanyarwanda.
Good afternoon.
Mwiriwe.
Murakoze kuba mwaradutumiye.
Thank you for your invitation.
Community y'Abanyamulenge kuba mwaradutumiye muri iki gikorwa.
The Banyamulenge community for your invitation in this event.
Icyo nakongeraho nuko turi abavandimwe.
What I can add is that we are brothers.
Tuvuga rumwe.
We speak the same language.
Twonse rimwe.
We breastfed the same.
Ibyo mwahuye nabyo.
What you encountered.
Twahuye nabyo muri 1994.
We encountered in 1994.
Murumva ko tuzi neza akababaro mwagize.
We understand very well the sadness that you have.
kuba rero ndi hano uyu munsi naje mpagarariye umuryango w'abanyarwanda hano muri Greater Manchester.
Today I'm here representing the Rwandese community in Manchester.
Wenda nibagiwe no kuvuga izina ryanjye.
I forgot to say my name. Maybe.
Nitwa Hakizimfura Amisi.
My name is Hakizimfura Amisi.
Nkaba ari je uhagarariye uwo muryango hano Manchester.
I am the president of the Rwandese community here in the city of Manchester.
Ndumva rero ntavuga byinshi, nari nateguye ibyo kuvuga ariko ibyavuzwe ni byinshi, ntabwo nanjye nabisubiramo byose. Icyangombwa nuko tugomba kwibuka.
I'm not going to repeat what has been said before, but the most important thing is that we must remember
kandi tukibuka
and rebuild ourselves.
Ngira ngo wenda nongeyeho ikindi kintu nuko ahangaha inyuma ho turi
just not too far from here,
byadutwaye imyaka 10.
It took us 10 years
kugira ngo tugire aho tubona urwibutso rwacu kuko ruri hano rwose inyuma yaho turi.
We also have our remembrance stone not too far from here, but that took us 10 years to achieve that. Here in Salford is not too far.
Impamvu mbivuze nuko
the reason I say that
byasabye ko duhaguruka.
It was necessary for us to stand up,
tukivugira,
speak for ourselves,
tugakurikirana,
investigate.
Tusaba abakuru bari nka MP Rebecca.
We asked MPs such as Rebecca,
our councillors,
all the councillors,
our community leaders,
all the community leaders,
faith leaders,
faith leaders,
ko badushyigikira muri iyo journey,
so that they could support us in that journey.
Ibyo byavuyemo ko
in that we achieved
ko natwe dufite urwibutso rw'abazize Genocide yakorewe Abatutsi muri 1994 mu Rwanda.
We managed to achieve the 1994 Rwandese genocide in Rwanda.
Nkuko numvise umwe muri bagenzi mu bavuze mbere nibaza ko yari mu ba survivors.
As I heard from one of the survivors earlier,
iyo mudahaguruka,
when you don't stand,
ngo muvuge mugerageze gukomanga ku miryango yose,
and speak your truth, knock on all possible doors,
ntabwo uru rwibutso mwabonye no munsi,
the remembrance stone that you witnessed today,
ntabwo rwari kuboneka.
It would not have been possible.
Ndabashimiye cyane kuba mwarageze kuri icyo gikorwa.
I thank you for you have achieved that.
Narangiza mbabwira ko
as I finished,
turi abavandimwe.
As I finish, I'd like to tell you that we are brothers.
Nubwo politike itubwire otherwise.
Even though politics tells us different.
Murakoze.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are now going to hear from one of ours, Douglas Gasore. He's used to live here in Salford, but he moved to America. He flew specifically for this event because he's a part of Salford and also a community leader in Phoenix, Arizona.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm going to stand here and speak a little bit about two things. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the British spirit. The British spirit. I'm a very, very proud UK citizen at the moment. When I heard about this event and the unveiling of the memorial, I thought to myself, I can never and I won't miss that event. because I'm not only am I married to a survivor,
gusa bitavuze kubera ko ndi umucikacumu.
I wanted to come and be very thankful in front of the leaders of the UK government here.
Nashakaga cyane kuza kugira ngo nshimire abayobozi bari imbere yacu.
The reason why I call it brave spirits because out of all these countries that we hear, the countries that we know,
impamvu mvuga ngo ni umwuka w'Abongereza mu bihugu byose tuzi.
This is just the first country that's given us as a survivors of the Gatumba massacre a place to call a memorial that we can go and grieve.
Iki nicyo gihugu cya mbere cyaduhaye ahantu ho gushira urwibutso rw'ubwicanyi bwakorewe mu Gatumba.
And you did that not only because you thought it was the right thing, but because you needed it to give minorities a voice like today.
Ntabwo mwabikoze gusa kubera ko ari ikintu cyiza cyo gukora, ariko mwabikoze nko gutanga ijwi kuri minorite.
And that is why I call it British spirit, because Britain always does things that are exceptional apart from other countries.
Ubwongereza ni igihugu gikunda gukora ibintu byiza bitandukanye n'ibindi bihugu byose.
We thank you for this particular effort and these particular things that you did for us.
Turabashimira kuri izi mbaraga cyane mwatweretse.
And to the Banyamulenge community here in the UK.
Ndetse nashimira community y'Abanyamulenge hano mu Bwongereza.
You should use this opportunity as a spirit to ensure that the justice that we're looking for
mwahagombye gukoresha aya mahirwe kugira ngo mushake ubutabera twifuza.
Just like Britain gave us the memorial today, we want you to be the first one to push the spirit of getting this justice for us.
Nkuko Ubwongereza bwaduhaye uyu mwanya ahantu gushira ibuye ry'urwibutso, reka kandi muzaba mbere kugira ngo mubone ubutabera.
It is for that reason that I really like to thank you for organizing this, the organizers and everyone that turned up today.
Ni kuri iyo mpamvu nashaka kwifuza cyangwa se gushimira abantu bateguye ikigo cy'uyu munsi.
To my now new host country, the United States, I will be able to tell them that back in the UK we have somewhere that we have a memorial for our people.
Aya ni amakuru nzabasha kubwira abantu baho ntuye.
Thank you very much and God continue to bless you.
Thank you so much, Douglas. We are now going to hear from the lawyers of survivors.
Tugiye kumva abanyamategeko b'abacikacumu.
They have been working tirelessly
bamaze imyaka bakora cyane
to put together all the case
kugira ngo babashe guhuza cyangwa se barepresent
for the survivors.
Y'abacikacumu.
For that, I would like to welcome Maître Innocent.
For that, let me welcome Mr. Innocent
and Dominic on behalf of the victims.
Let's start by Dominic. He's on Zoom. I will follow after him.
Reka dutangire dutegera Dominic ari kuri Zoom hanyuma ndamukurikira.
Tekinike nimba mwabitunganyije mwamushiraho. Nimba byananiranye twakomeza twavuga.
Okay. Well, hello. I am pleased to attend this session, even if I am pretty far from Manchester. I released a few information about me to make a short presentation. I am a criminal lawyer, Paris Bar, for many dozens of years now. I've been lucky enough to handle some cases in Black Africa, in Mali, in Congo, Brazzaville, in Cameroon, and in Gabon now, in sensitive cases. All the African cases are usually sensitive cases, so that is why I'm lucky enough to be with you. When I got the information about the awful Gatumba case, I saw that in the United Nations missions, three kind of science have been checked. One in Burundi, the Front National de Libération, some people from armed force of Congo Kinshasa, and some Hutu militias from Rwanda, which had fled in Congo RDC. So the idea is to submit claims before the three different justices. First, in Bujumbura. Second, before a military court in Congo Kinshasa. Third, before the Office of Prosecution in Kigali. Each claim is targeting a different kind of assailants. Then we have also submitted a claim before the ICC, International Criminal Court, because the Congo Kinshasa has joined the Statute of Rome and has granted jurisdiction about the men at arms or the perpetrators of Congo citizenship to the ICC. The next step will be to ask the state of Burundi for damages compensation, because the state of Burundi has failed in protecting you in the Gatumba case. In the same times, the Burundi state has had some gendarmes and military men to make this protection, which has fully failed. So in my opinion, the civil liability of the state of Burundi is engaged in this case, and we are preparing a last plea for petition for damages in favor of all the survivors and families of the slaughter. This is the general trend of our action. What are we targeting? First, the most important thing in the first stage is that your suffering, your feeling about this awful massacre has to be taken into account by a competent jurisdiction. This is the first step, and we have now reached it, and I will call now the prosecutor of Bujumbura, of Kigali, of the military court in order to make some pressure and have the investigations done as quick as possible. Second, we will press the investigations to be done, which is what I am used to do in France and in Africa when I have some of these cases. The third stage, which we cannot forget, is to try to have the perpetrators sentenced. We are more or less lucky, since we know at least two of them, the two main chief or CEO of the Front National de Libération du Burundi, who have claimed at the moment of the massacre that the Front National de Libération has ordered and was part of the slaughter. These two persons, by the name of Agaton Roisa and Pasteur Abimana, are still alive. They are still living in Burundi. One of the two, tried to become the president of the Burundi. So we can target them, and I think we may have some luck enough to get a good result in asking the court for the sentencing them. And the last and the final stage will be to get some financial damages, as I told you. I want to say that this is a hard fight, a long fight. You mean to be strong enough in this case, and I need a new power of attorney and new affidavit on victims of individuals who have been the victims of the facts, because the most I have, the best, the stronger are our claim. Second request, everybody must mobilize in this case. Since I am acting in this case, and the previous week I was working 1/3 of my time, and there are some financial requests which must be fulfilled. And I want to tell you that if I make an effort on this matter, because I do not act as my usual practice, I would appreciate a great that I and some of the other lawyers implicated in this case will be supported by a strong effort from your side. Well, my speech is over. If you have some further queries or questions, I am of course still available. My very best, and I see you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Dominic.
Yes. Dominic ni umwavoka waje kutwunganira.
Dominic is one of the lawyers who support us.
W'umufaransa.
He's from France.
Ni umwavoka mpuzamahanga.
He's an international lawyer.
Koko imbaraga yazanye zatumye tugeza ibirego mu nkiko.
He came with great force that enabled us to achieve something great.
Muri make rero uyu mwaka twabashe gutanga ibirego.
This year we managed to present our case in courts.
Dutanga ibirego mu gihugu cy'u Burundi.
We gave our cases to the courts in Burundi.
Dutanga ibirego mu Rwanda.
Also in Rwanda.
Muri Congo.
In Congo.
ICC.
And the ICC.
Ndetse tunandikira Security Council.
We also wrote to the Security Council
kugira ngo nayo ikomeze isunika ibyo birego.
To see if they can push those cases.
Rero muri make nivyo yashatse kuvuga mu ncamake.
That is what he was trying to say.
Yeah, rero sinsubira muri ibyo cyane.
I'm not going to repeat what he said.
Reka ndasubira muri make muri inzira y'ubutabera ukuniruhije no nshimira n'abantu bamwe na bamwe twagizemo uruhare.
I'm going to summarize the sort of road to justice and what we have managed to achieve so far.
Ndibuka mu 2016.
I remember in 2016.
Twahuriye muri Holiday Inn Hotel hano Manchester.
We met in Holiday Inn Hotel here in Manchester.
Ngo twari kumwe na Emery.
I was with Emery.
Bernard Menge, Maître Bernard Menge mu Belge.
Another gentleman from Belgium.
Pastor Kirayi hariya.
Pastor Kirayi, who's over there.
Murura hano Councilor twari turi kumwe.
Councilor Murura was there as well.
Dutangira kuri dosiye gushaka ubutabera bwa Gatumba.
Starting on this case looking for justice in Gatumba.
Turangije tuza kugira connection na ubwo yari president wari uhari yari Mandevu.
The president who was at the time was Mandevu.
Bemvita Menge tumwohereza muri Amerika via GRSF.
We sent another gentleman to America.
Aragenda atanga ibiganiro kugira ngo dutangizwe ubutabera.
He went and presented some talks so we can start this journey of justice.
Ariko titwabashije kugera ku ntego kuko twafatanyaga na Menge na Jean Paul muri ico gihe.
We did not manage to achieve justice so far. We
did
not present our case to the courts.
Kubera ko 2017 havutse intambara imuhira imurenge.
As you know, in 2017 there were conflicts or wars in
Congo.
Dutangira
kwinjira mu gukora documentation.
So we shifted our focus on that.
Abari dutanga ibirego byinshi.
That's when we managed to present some appeals.
Tukaba dushimira umuryango gakondo w'abanyamurenge.
We thank our community worldwide.
Kuko wadushoboje kutsukuma nubwo twabifite ibitekerezo ariko ni wadushoboje.
Even though we had ideas, they pushed us.
Dutegera ama conference atandukanye avuga ukarengane n'ubwicanyi mu bigo bitandukanye.
We had many conferences covering these injustices.
Ikirego kimwe twasanze cyagize impact ikomeye.
One of the most successful appeals
ni ikirego twatanze mu Bubiligi cy'ama hate speech kuko Tomata yivuze muri article ndahinda na aje wakoze idocumenta ama YouTube ama hate speech agera ku 140 ngahe avuga ubwicanyi bukorerwa abanyamurenge yavaga mu Bubiligi menshi.
Was a hate speech appeal we did in Belgium. We covered many hate speech from YouTube, from different communities. That was one of our most successful.
Dutanze ibirego mu Bubiligi.
After presenting our appeal,
na team ya collective des avocats n'abantu batandukanye,
together with different lawyers,
aba batangiye gukurikiranwa.
They started to investigate.
Abatangaga aya ma hate speech,
those who were giving those hate speeches,
YouTube yose bayakuraho.
They removed from all their YouTube channels.
Ubu kabisa mu Bubiligi ndahamya neza ko hate speech zagabanutse ku rugero ruhagije ruboneka nka 80%.
Today I could say that hate speech against Banyamulenge in the country of Belgium has reduced by almost 80%.
Ikindi twakoze,
what we also managed to achieve,
ibirego twatanze Bukavu kuri abadamu bishe mu Minembwe,
is an appeal we did in Bukavu, Congo, for women who were killed in Minembwe,
via Maître Amede Kamoto na Claude Nyamugabo,
via Claude Nyamugabo and Claude Kamoto.
Nabo babashe gufunga abasirikare bakatirwa bahabwa ibihano bari muri gereza ariko n'abasirikare bato. bahishe abantu mu minembwe babadamu bishwe mu minembwe.
Some low-ranking military officials were managed to be sentenced.
N'ubu barafunze muri Bukavu.
They are sentenced in Congo now. They're in prison.
N'ubu turakomeje ibirego birakomeje.
We continue to present our cases.
Noneho tumaze kubona gutyo turavuga ati ese Gatumba yo bizagenda gute?
After seeing all that, we thought to ourselves, what's going to happen with Gatumba?
Nibwo twatekereje gushaka izindi mbaraga.
That's why we decided to look for other forces.
Twiyambaza umwavoka mu Faransa Dominique.
That's why we asked for Dominique from France.
Ndibuka imyaka yose baduhaga budget irenga $60,000 z'amadolari kugira ngo tutangure dosiye ya Gatumba.
In the years gone, we used to be presented with a budget of £60,000 to present a case.
Ariko ndabahamya ko tutayikoreshe na 20% y'ayo mafaranga.
I can tell you confidently that we managed to do it with less than 20% of that money.
Kubera basabaga mankete menshi.
Because it required so many investigations.
Twababwira abavoka abanyamahanga bakavuga ati ibikwira gufata ama affidavit cyangwa se amatemonyage y'aba survivor.
To tell international lawyers that to get testimonies from survivors.
Niko kazi kari gakomeye cyane kuko ibindi biri kuri YouTube cyangwa se kuma Google.
That was the hardest part.
Ariko ndavuga ati maze umwaka mbifata nje nyine.
I've been doing that myself, gathering affidavits, getting survivors' testimonies.
Rimwe nashimira na madamu wanje kuko yamfashije kuko umwanya mwinshi niho nawutaga tuba twaratandukanye yagiye kuko niho natera umwanya wanje munini.
Let me thank my wife who managed to help me throughout this gathering of affidavits.
Murabona amasaha ya Amerika ari nyuma cyane.
As you can see, the time in America is behind.
Saa 10 z'ijoro rege navuzukaga nkafata ubuhamya bw'umusurvivor.
Sometimes I used to wake up 4 a.m. here to get affidavits from people in America, so I can represent them to the lawyers.
Ariko uyu mwaka ndashima ko ku bufatanye bwa Mahoro Peace Association.
This year I think with the support of Mahoro Peace Association.
Kuko niyo yafundinze igikorwa yonyine twakoze fundraising ahandi ntibizakunda ariko Mahoro igikora yonyine ra fundinga kugira ngo twishurire mwavoka.
Individually they funded this project of paying for the lawyers.
Nagize amahirwe ndi kumwe na president hano.
I'm privileged to see the
president of Mahoro twakoranye kandi ko mwarafinda igikorwa tukaba dutanze idoshi.
I thank her for all they've done and all we achieved.
Ibirore byose twakoze.
All we've done.
Hari story behind.
There's a story behind it.
Nabacika cumu.
They are survivors.
Ibyo twakora byose.
All we can do.
Nuko twagize Imana tukabona bacika cumu dizo story.
Even though we were fortunate to see all these survivors to present their stories,
let
me give you a short story on the remembering stone we saw today. In 2020, is when they destroyed the remembrance stone in Gatumba. They deleted all the writings on the we called a meeting.
He was a secretary in the meeting.
There was a secretary in the meeting, SP, who is here. I was leading the meeting. We're with Dr. Lazarus, who is in prison. We were Mr. Jacques Jean Paul. We were with the governor from Burundi called Desiree. Together with the Burundi community. They said that what had happened was a decision from the government. We have those minutes from the meeting. From that moment, we started thinking what we can do. There's a gentleman who said God goes through people to achieve something for others. That's when we approached Councillor Murura. God bless him for he has presented us. We told him there's something you can do in this position. They deleted or they destroyed the remembrance in Burundi. Let's rebuild it in Burundi. When we had that meeting, I promised Councillor Murura and Wilson a cow. So please give the Salford Council a cow. Please, this is our culture. Do give them this cow. I also remember Honorable Rebecca. We also talked about this.
aratubwira ngo tuzaje kwa meya niwe uzabikora neza kandi Murura yabikoze neza
She
cyane.
advised us to approach this ceremonial mayor.
Ariko na Murura ntimukamwibagire kuri iyo nyabuneka.
And also remember Alex Murura.
Rero mu by'ukuri ndumva umutima wanjye wishimye.
Truly my heart is happy.
Umutima wanjye wuzuye ibyishimo.
I'm filled with happiness.
Kuri izi initiative zagiye zigira umusaruro.
For all these initiatives that
buri muntu wese yagira icyo akora.
Been successful, everyone had a part to play.
Muri Hall City dufite museum twashyize nk'amateka y'Abanyamulenge.
In Hall City we have a museum where we put Banyamulenge history.
History of museum dufite nk'amateka y'Abanyamulenge, insobeko, ibisabo byose biramanitse muri museum.
In the history museum in Hall we managed to put some Banyamulenge cultures. And today we have seen a remembrance of Gatumba. We want something else in different cities, in different countries.
God bless you all.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being patient. We are now getting very, very closer to the end. We would like to welcome Madame Jacqueline Ingabire, who is the president of Banyamulenge UK Community Association, for closing word. And before that, we would like to welcome Freddy Munongori.
Let me also welcome Freddy Munongori,
who is the chair of the Board of Trustees.
He's the chair of Board of Trustees.
A minute thanks.
And
then we'll be at the end of the event. And the food is ready. So the ushers will show you where to go. If you can wait until Madam speaks.
President of
Board.
President of the Board, please.
Murakoze kuduha ijambo.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Ndavuga amagambo makeya cyane kubera ko umwanya wagiye.
Because of time I'll try to be brief.
Ndashimira gusa abantu nk'abangahe.
I'm going to mention a few names and thank them.
Kuko ibindi byose president wenda araza kubikora.
Maybe the rest will be spoken by the.
Ndashimira bwa mbere abayobozi ba Salford.
First and foremost, let me thank the leadership of Salford.
Baduhaye agaciro kuruta igihugu tuvukamo.
For giving us more value than the country that we originate from.
Bivuze bukeya.
I speak this with a
low
voice.
Kubera ko umwanya ari muto.
Because of time.
Ariko babyumve cyane.
But please understand this greatly.
Ndashimira byimazeyo abagabo babiri.
I'm going to thank two men.
Ndashimira Kansala Murura.
I'm going to thank Councillor Murura.
Shimire Kansala Wilson.
And also Councillor Wilson.
Nibo batuhujije n'abayobozi hano muri Salford.
They're the ones who connected us with the leadership of
Salford. Ngo tubone uko tubageraho.
Maybe it would have been difficult to approach the Salford leadership directly.
Ariko kugira ngo tubagereho.
But for us to approach you,
byaciye muri aba bagabo bombi.
It went through these two men.
Imana ibahe umugisha.
May God bless you.
Ndashimira bwa nyuma.
Lastly,
ndashimira komite ya executive.
Let me thank the executive community.
Ndetse na board.
And also the board.
Kubzo bakoze.
For what they have done.
Imana ibahe umugisha.
May God bless you.
Ndashimira abayoboke bose ku bushobozi bwanyu mwatanze.
Let me thank all the members of the Banyamulenge community
for all the support.
For everything you did for us to achieve this day. We pray for blessings. Lastly, let me thank the president.
Twasanze iwacu baza baca umugani ngo uwambaye ikirezi ntazamenya ko cyera. Birakugoye. Iyi minsi yose twari tumaze muri iki gihugu.
All these years that we've been in the UK.
Ni nkaho tutari tuzi Madame Jacqueline.
It's like we didn't know Madame Jacqueline.
ariko muri iyi myaka ibiri atuyoboye niho tumumenye
But in the last 2 years, she's been the president. We've
kandi
come to
cyane
know her,
cyane twebwe twakoranye nawe
especially those who work with her.
ntabwo ari umuntu usanzwe
She's not a regular person.
murabizi neza ko hageze igihe asigara mu myanya y'abantu barindwi ari wenyine.
You know that it came at one point where she operated in 7 positions.
ariko iyo myanya yose ayihagararamo,
But she acted very well in those positions.
arahatana,
She fought,
atugejeje ku bintu bikomeye.
and we've managed to achieve something great.
kimwe n'icyo mwabonye uyu munsi.
And one of them is what you saw in the morning.
turashimira cyane abakansara aba bagabo bombi navuze baduhuje n'abayobozi.
Let me once again thank these two men.
ariko ndashimira cyane byimazeyo presidenti kuko yarahatanye.
But above all, let me thank the president that she has fought.
kuko amagambo yavugaga tubonanye n'aba bayobozi,
With the words she used to speak when we have meetings,
wenda ntibaba barayumvise cyane iyo havuga undi muntu,
maybe they wouldn't have been able to understand them if it was
ariko
spoken by
umutima
someone
umurimo
else.
n'ishyaka rimurimo no gukunda ubwoko bimurimo,
Because of her love and determination for her
yageze
people,
abivuga ukabona bivuye ahantu ku mutima,
she used to speak from a deep place,
bigatuma n'abayobozi barushaho kumwumva cyane.
which made people understand her.
Imana imuhe umugisha.
May God bless you.
bwa nyuma
Lastly,
kurangiza,
as I finish,
ndasaba ngo Abanyamulenge
let me ask Banyamulenge,
dufatikanye dufatane mu nda,
let's work together united
twange gupfa
and refuse to die.
kandi bizashoboka.
And now it's possible.
muraho mwese.
Hello everyone.
biragoye kuvuga nyuma y'abantu bose,
It's difficult to speak after all those people that have spoken,
ariko sindi busubire mu byo bose bavuze kuko mwavuze neza kandi ibikwiye.
but I'm going to try to avoid repeating what they have said.
ndazi ko umwanya wagiye,
I know time has passed us,
ariko mumbabarire mbashimire.
but allow me to thank you.
nshimiye kuba kuri uno munsi wa none.
I'm happy to be here today.
ubu nishima buri wese wabashije kuba hano ndetse n'abadukurikiye ku murongo.
Let me thank those who attended today,
mpereye ku bayobozi bacu,
starting from our leaders,
MP Rebecca,
MP Rebecca,
City Mayor ntari hano Paul Donnet,
the ceremonial city mayor who was here,
ariko hari uwamuserukiye n'umunsi wa none,
and his representative,
aba ceremonial mayor,
ceremonial mayor,
aba councillors,
councillors.
sindi bavuga amazina mwese kubera umwanya wagiye.
I'm not going to say all their names because of time.
muri ab'agaciro kuri twebwe.
You are of great value to us.
iki kintu twabonye cyangwa se iri buye twabashije kugeraho,
What we witnessed this morning,
ntitwari kubikora iyo mutahaba.
maybe it wouldn't have been possible because if you went there.
iyi ni intambwe ntoya y'ubutabera,
This is a small step in the journey of justice.
ariko nzi kuko ari ikimenyetso cy'urukundo rw'abayobozi ba UK na city, cyane cyane Salford City kuri twebwe.
But I know it's a sign of love that the Salford City Council and the UK have for us as a people.
nk'uko bambere babivuze, iwacu twabigerageje ariko ntabwo twabonye agaciro cyangwa se baduhaye agaciro gahagije kugira ngo baduhereze ahantu tubasha kuza twibukira abacu cyangwa se byibuze tubahamba neza mu gaciro.
As those who have spoken before me, they've said that in our country it was impossible to achieve what we have achieved today.
ariko ubwongereza cyangwa se abayobozi ba City Council usibye kutwakira bakaduhereza ahantu tuba mu mahoro, bongeye no guha agaciro abacu batambutse bazize Genocide 2004.
The city of Salford, not only they give us a refuge, but they've also given us a place to remember our people we lost in Gatumba.
n'ubwisha kugira abayobozi beza.
We have great leaders.
Perezida wa board amaze kuvuga ngo hari ukuntu yamenye, nanje hari ukuntu namenye ubuyobozi bwa hano cyane cyane muri kino gihugu. Salford ni wacu, ni umuryango, ni famiye yacu, apana kuvuga ngo ni igihugu cyacu, ni famiye yacu. Salford, abantu bataba Salford Council.
Me personally, I've come to know very well what Salford means. Salford is a family. Salford is part of us as people.
babaye hafi yacu buryo bwose.
They supported us very closely in all possible ways.
batwakiriye mu gihe kigoye n'igihe donc mu mwanya wari wose baratwakiriye.
They welcomed us in the most difficult or challenging times.
nabonye abantu baciye bugufi.
I witnessed very humble people.
MP Rebecca uri umuyobozi mwiza.
You're a great leader.
Uri inshuti y'Abanyamulenge.
You're a friend of Banyamulenge.
Turagukunda.
We love you.
Si wowe wenyine. Okay, amasaha aragiye.
Time is going.
Nkuko nari mvuze mwese muri rusange ka ngire message generale kubera amasaha yagiye.
Let me pass on a general message because of time.
Shimiye buri wese wageze hano mpereye ku bayobozi bacu twavuze, aba community leaders, aba pasteri, abanyamuryango, mwese mwabashije kugera hano kwifatikanya natwe kuduhumuriza ndetse no gukomeza runo rugendo rwo gushakisha ubutabera. Imana ngushibaho umugisha.
Let me thank everyone who attended today, those who came to support in every possible way. May God bless you.
Ibi twabashe kubona mumbabarire ntabwo birangiriye hangaha.
What we witnessed today, it's not going to end today.
Ahubwo tugomba guhuza imbaraga kugira ngo dukomeze tugere no ku bindi.
We must continue to unite so we can achieve much more.
Tuzi neza kuko twavuze ko n'inshuro ya 20 dushakisha ubutabera ariko kugeza n'uyu musono nditurabubona.
As we said, today is the 20th anniversary, but we have not managed to achieve justice.
Ariko iyi ntambwe ntoya twateye,
but this great step we made today,
irakurikizwaho n'izindi nyinshi zigenda zitwegereza ku butabera.
Follow many more things.
Ibyo ntibizaba bidafite ubufatanye bw'imbaraga zawe nanje.
However, that will not happen without my and your support.
Message kuri community yacu.
A message to our community.
Nagira ngo mbasabe ngo
let me ask you.
Ibi twagezeho ni intambwe ntoya nkuko maze kubivuga.
Today was just a stepping stone, as I said.
Ariko nituramuka twimye amatwi ibishobora kutucamo cyangwa se bishobora kutivadinga.
If we manage to disregard the dividing forces,
tuzagera ku ntambwe nyinshi turamutse duhuje ubufatanye bwacu ndetse tukomeze kugwanira kubaho kwacu.
We will manage to achieve more and continue to fight for our life.
Mwagize neza kubana natwe.
Thank you for attending today.
Mwizina ry'umuryango w'Abanyamulenge Baka UK.
In the name of Baka UK.
Twishimiye abashitsi mubabarire nangiye kubibagirwa.
I forgot about our guests.
Umwanya ni gitangaza.
Time is something.
Reka turazobona gufata umwanya uhagije hirya no tubashimire.
We're going to take another time to thank you.
Twabanezerewe kubana namwe.
We're happy to be with you.
Ntabwo muri mwenyine.
You're not alone.
Mufite amaboko menshi.
You have many extending hands.
Mukomere.
Continue to be comforted.
Tuzagera ku butabera nitutagwisara.
One day we will achieve justice.
Mwagize neza Imana ibahe.
Thank you, may God bless you.
Tubabarire ku masaha twabatwaye.
Sorry about the time.
Ariko byari ibyishimo kubana namwe.
It was a joy to be with you.
Murakoze cyane.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
bagabo n'abagore bari hano.
Distinguished guests,
abatumire bacu bari hano.
Thank you very much for attending this event.
Mwakoze cyane kwitabira uyu munsi.
We are now officially closing this ceremony.
Ku mugaragaro turashoje uyu munsi.
But something to take home
ariko ikintu cyo gutahana
is love.
Urukundo.
Love will surmount every mountain.
Urukundo